Tonight on the Black Channel, I suppose the only good lesson of the Epstein Files catastrophe is that the young generation will start out in life never trusting the government. And at least they found this out at an early age. I'm going to start here from the Sunday Guardian Live. Photos have been dropped out there. They haven't released everything they're supposed to, so the chicanery goes on, but I wanted to show you all these things here. Here's a collage of some of the pictures of folk who have met with Epstein or Epstein's satellite, Ghislaine Maxwell. Some faces you might have expected, some faces maybe you probably didn't. Although I'm sure there's a perfectly good explanation for all of this. Going down the list here, there's Sir Richard Branson of Virgin Atlantic, Virgin Mobile, whatever you want to name it. So that's Sir Richard Branson. There's Bill Clinton. The Trump administration basically went looking for every photograph that they had in the file, and I'm going to talk about all that here in a few moments. So it's him with either a female or actually more than one female. So, Prince Andrew. All right. Looks like he's laying across a bunch of chicks there. So I guess this is the right of first refusal. His ex-wife, Sarah Ferguson. So there she is. Chris Tucker with Ghislaine Maxwell. But I think there may be a good explanation for this because it says here that he was known for the Rush Hour films. Okay, there's Chris Tucker with Ghislaine Maxwell, and right after that is director Brett Ratner. Brett Ratner directed Rush Hour. So perhaps Brett Ratner was the real guest that they wanted. Like, hey, can you bring that little fella, that Chris Tucker? I like him in those movies. So, yeah, we see Chris Tucker, but he's next to a female, and then we see Brett Ratner doing what Brett Ratner does. So, Chris was probably a +1. Bet you he wishes he can get that one back. All right, there's Prince Andrew with Virginia Giuffre, who claimed to be underage at the time, and Ghislaine Maxwell, making sure that, by the way, that cameras are always rolling. There's Bill Clinton and everybody else there, so the usual suspects. There's Chris Tucker doing what a black man's supposed to do. Hey, what y'all doing all these pictures? The white folks should have realized something was wrong. It takes a black man in the room to realize, wait a minute, what y'all taking all these pictures for? You already got a picture of me. Well, who are you, the FBI? Pretty close, Chris. But yeah, you can see on Chris's face, why are y'all always taking pictures? Every time we turn around, it's snap, snap, snap like the paparazzi. What's up with all the pictures? So that's what I'm suspecting was going on there. I know that expression on the face. Yeah, why are y'all doing all this? You already have 2 or 3 pictures. That's not enough? There's Ghislaine Maxwell, the massage thing. Just remember that. Then there's this picture here. Michael Jackson, Bill Clinton. And you can see what the caption says here. Michael Jackson with former President Bill Clinton and American host Oprah Winfrey.
Nigga, what?
Y'all, and it's not just one place I saw this. So I don't know if these people are just trolling us or if they're just really this dumb. But furthermore, this wasn't from Epstein. I mean, it was in the Epstein Files, but this is actually from... They got the blurred out faces of Michael's kids and Diana Ross. And so this wasn't Epstein victims. These were their kids. But in any case, it was in the files. So there you go. But yeah, there's a bunch of folk out there who were talking about Michael Jackson and Oprah Winfrey. And I'm like, you can only think that's Oprah Winfrey if you literally never saw Oprah Winfrey. But okay. There's Michael Jackson again with Jeffrey Epstein looking very suspicious. So, photo album with Trump and more females in bikinis. So, yeah. Oh, look, Mick Jagger, right between Bill Clinton and Jeffrey Epstein. So, and we're not going to go into background stuff here, although if you keep looking, you go into folks' backgrounds. And then they say that this is Steve Bannon. I mean, okay, that could be Steve Bannon. It could be, although they also messed up Diana Ross and said Oprah Winfrey. But they claim this is Steve Bannon. Looks like he fresh out the shower with a cigarette. So... this isn't a good look on Epstein Island. If you are a visitor to Epstein Island and you're fresh out the shower, I'm like, okay, oh boy, you've had better pictures in life than that, let me tell you. You've had better pictures in life than that. So, now that we got that out the way, we can go ahead and get over here to Al Jazeera. They were talking about the story as well. The painting of Bill Clinton wearing a dress. I have a feeling that Mr. Epstein is trying to tell people something. I have a feeling that Mr. Epstein is attempting to tell people something with these photographs with Bill Clinton. I just have a sneaking suspicion that he's trying to tell people something with that. Or that folks are going to figure out something with it there. So, yeah, that could be something they're letting you know that, by the way, Epstein knew something. For those of you who are not aware, the scuttlebutt was always that Epstein was an Israeli asset. And that basically they got their hooks into Bill Clinton because they knew he was a skirt chaser and was very compromised in that way. So they knew that Bill Clinton would be a very easy target. And that's why they sent Monica Lewinsky, who now back in the 90s, I read an article that said that Monica Lewinsky was Jewish. So, if you all can go take a look into that, back in the 90s, I read an article that said Monica Lewinsky was Jewish. Well, okay. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying, all right. Monica Lewinsky, Kash Patel's girlfriend, Charlie Kirk's wife. We can go down the list. So I just couldn't help but notice. So make of that what you will. But for those of you who didn't know, it's always been the scuttlebutt that the Israelis want their hooks in Bill Clinton. And people have now started to suspect that, wow, that all lines up. Because there's rumors of a famous conversation that took place between Benjamin Netanyahu and Bill Clinton, with Netanyahu telling Clinton, we know about the mistress, but don't worry. I've made sure nobody else has talked about it. So, yeah, there's that. Oh, look, there's another picture, Bill Clinton and Ghislaine Maxwell, and Mick Jagger is there. So, yeah, just all right. Nothing to it, I'm sure. There's Michael Jackson with Oprah Winfrey and Bill Clinton. And Prince Andrew flopping about. Oh, and then this photograph here. What? Now, let me go ahead and put this up a little bit bigger for you all here. But Bill Clinton is in the pool with Ghislaine Maxwell and another female. So, needless to say, Bill was doing what Bill does. Hey, you all haven't gone to a friend's house and jumped in the pool with his girlfriend and another chick while he's sitting there taking pictures?
Nigga, what?
What, none of you have ever done that? Come on now, you mean to tell me that none of you have ever been to to the fellas in here. So you've never been to one of your male friends' houses and you jumped in the pool with his girlfriend and another chick while he was taking pictures. None of y'all have ever done that? Well, what? Really? You haven't? So just Bill? Just Bill and Epstein Island? None of y'all have ever done that? Come on now. Doesn't everybody? Hey, fellas, haven't you let another dude jump in the pool with your girlfriend and another chick? Haven't you all? Fellas, haven't we all done it? No, me neither. But I'm just saying, hey, fellas, you haven't let other dudes jump in the pool with your girl and you just sit there and take pictures? You know, like one big Diddy freak off? You never did that before? None? Okay. Hey, you need another angle? By the way, just in case you need another angle of it, I mean, they're on some Roman Colosseum stuff in here. Do you see the walls and things? I mean, they are on some straight Roman Colosseum stuff. So for those of you who never saw some of the other pictures, which the corporate media, by the way, is not doing their job at all. I mean, they are complicit in the cover up to this moment. You can go to Twitter and find more pictures than you will on CNN, ABC, CBS, everything combined. So the corporate media is very much in the tank with Epstein to this day. They're covering for Epstein to this day. But just remember, I'm pretty sure Epstein is the one taking the pictures. And that should be your first damn clue. We're going to come back to more details about that here in just a moment. But yeah, that should be your first clue that something is hella wrong. Really should be your first clue something's hella wrong. All right, here's Bill Clinton, and to Bill Clinton's right is Kevin Spacey. So now, is that Ghislaine here also? That looks like it might be Ghislaine Maxwell there. But there's Bill Clinton, there's Kevin Spacey, and, you know, I just would be remiss if I didn't say, by the way, I couldn't help but notice a laundry list of people who have had accusations, I must emphasize accusations, of sexual improprieties, shall we say, either in the past or currently. So just couldn't help but notice there was a steady stream of that going on here. Just couldn't help but notice that the guest list usually included a number of folks who did that kind of thing. So if you want to know what these folks do when we're not around, they want their exclusive clubs and stuff. Yeah, I'm sure this is all just one great, big, huge running coincidence, right? This is all just one big, huge coincidence, right? Okay. Is Trump in the Epstein Files? Of course he is. Now, on this desk here, you got Pope John Paul II. You got a number of different dignitaries and things. And photographs. People take a look at this. Photographs everywhere. You have never in your life taken a bunch of photographs of people you weren't related to like this. Jeffrey Epstein, people, come on, literally thousands of photographs. Who does that other than a photographer or an intelligence gatherer? Somebody in law enforcement or somebody gathering evidence. That's the only person who would be and this is before the digital camera era, folks. This is before the digital camera era. Who the hell takes this many photographs? Because they're talking about he had thousands and thousands. I'm hearing somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe 20,000. What? We can't be sure because the White House is covering, but one report I saw said that it could be as many as 20,000 photographs. Folk, that's not normal. Not for somebody who just wants souvenirs. That's not, and especially for people he can see all the time. It's not like, I mean, these are folk he had regular access to. Why do you need so many photographs to people that you can visit in person all the time? Why do you need so many? And either you're a photographer or you're an intelligence asset. Okay, so, there's Jeffrey Epstein, possibly with the high school reunion. So, yeah, there's that. How much has been redacted? Too damn much. There's Bill Clinton meeting a constituent. What? By the way, you see other folks sitting back there, so he's not by himself. I guess they're on one of Epstein's planes. So there's Bill Clinton. I mean, with them taking photographs, and Bill is just chilling. Bill is just chilling. Now, is he lit? I don't know. Did Bill get full? I don't know. But Bill looks like he's feeling good. So, all right. Going down the list here. There's Trump. Yeah. Doing what Trump does, so I'm sure there's nothing to it. Sure there's nothing to it, folks. Sure there isn't. People, what in the hell is going on here? What in the hell is going on? The Democrats also were releasing files from the Epstein estate, which is really weird to me. The Epstein estate. Please tell me why the Epstein estate has pictures of Bill Gates with a woman who is not or was not Melinda Gates. What? I'm going to assume it's the same woman in both pictures. I'll assume that, but in Jeffrey Epstein's orbit, and they tend to swap chicks around, so I can't guarantee it is. But by the way, I just couldn't help but notice that seems to be a thing. Couldn't help but notice that seems to be a thing. Now, I'm going to try to tread carefully here in just a few moments. I'm going to attempt to tread carefully because, yeah, there's all kinds of stuff that could pop up here. Let's jump over to News Nation. Let's jump over here to News Nation. We've seen this photograph before. There's Jeffrey Epstein. Looks like he's on his plane, I guess, with another chick who is not Ghislaine Maxwell. Maybe she's of legal age. Maybe she's not. Probably not. Oh, look, Bill Gates again. Nothing suspicious here. Why are these pictures at Epstein's place, y'all? Oh, look, it's Jeffrey Epstein and Woody Allen. Don't worry, Woody is a little camera shy here, but he isn't in the other pictures, so. Well, you take a look. Well, you look around the corner and there's a founder of Google. Well, you look around the corner and you bump into a founder of Google. That didn't take very long, did it? And then this fella right here, don't worry, we'll come to him in a few moments. But yep. By the way, they Sergey and Brin, I don't want to leave any of them out. Sergey and Brin were both frequenters of Jeffrey Epstein. So very glad to see that, they get around. Very glad to see they get around. So, yeah. Noam Chomsky, to my knowledge, has never commented about going to go see Epstein. But by the way, Epstein tried to meet as many people as he could. I'm not going to throw shade on Noam Chomsky. I'm just going to say, by the way, and just Noam is looking like Chris Tucker here too, by the way. Why are you taking all these pictures? So maybe Noam kind of felt like, yeah, y'all, every time I show up, y'all are just like the paparazzi, just flash bulbs going all the time. Why are y'all taking all these pictures, man? I'm here to talk to Jeffrey, and then there's somebody over here taking pictures the whole damn time. What's up with this? Because look at his face. He looks genuinely perplexed. What are you doing? How you hold a conversation? You taking pictures while I'm talking? What is this? There's Jeffrey Epstein with a table full of friends, looking like he's pulling off the caper. Just everything's going his way. He's pulling off the caper and everything is going just fine. Oh, look, David Brooks. Oh, look, it's columnist David Brooks. David Brooks, who wrote a column that said, the Epstein Files, count me out. Well, there's columnist David Brooks, who made a big show of the Epstein Files and now the big deal, and he's not going to be following up on the Epstein Files. It ain't no big deal. And oh, what do you know? Yeah, the folks who are most yelling about how irrelevant the Epstein Files are and people shouldn't worry about it. And what do you know? They all are in the files. The ones yelling loudest that the files don't matter. Then you go look in the files and see, oh, there you are. Yeah, there you are. Yeah, it all makes sense now. It all makes sense now. Of course, it made sense before, too. There's Jeffrey Epstein like, yeah, them files do matter. Count you in, David. Yeah, there's David Brooks and there's Epstein. Yeah, count you in, David. Count you out? No, we counting you in. We counting you all the way in. Oh, that must be the after look. This is how your life looks before you met Jeffrey Epstein. This is how your life looks after. Damn! Yes, sir. That's before and after. I hope you enjoyed the meal and the dinner because you will never be the same. All right, more tech executives, reporters, other various ne'er-do-wells. Oh, Steve Bannon. There's Steve Bannon, and by the way, they've blacked out the images here on the pictures here because basically it's like a naked female on the photograph. So there's Steve Bannon just, chatting up Jeffrey Epstein with explicit photos on the desk. Folks, don't you all have conversations with your friends with pictures of naked females sitting on the desk? Doesn't everybody do that? Doesn't everyone do that? And it's not just one picture, by the way. It's a bunch of pictures. So, oh, look, former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak. That's the guy in the black jacket in the middle. Well, I'll be damned. Oh, Ehud Barak, who kept going to New York to go see Jeffrey Epstein in person. No ties to Israel at all, certainly. This has nothing to do with Israel, obviously. Can't you all tell there is no Israeli connection? That's just a conspiracy theory. Why would you possibly think that Jeffrey Epstein is an Israeli intelligence asset? He just took pictures of everybody and everywhere he saw 24 hours a day, and he's just got Israeli prime ministers running in and out of his house. I mean, other than that, you call that evidence. You call that evidence. Oh, yeah, by the way, Ehud Barak, Woody Allen, Jeffrey Epstein. Why would you think that this is an Israeli operation? Why would you ever think that? What would lead you to think that the Israelis have an intelligence operation going on here? I don't know why you would think that. I don't know why. This cat here, I don't recognize. If you all do, knock yourselves out. I'm pretty sure he's important or thinks he's important, and Jeffrey got cameras rolling for you too. So You go see Jeffrey, dude. Look here. There's pictures going all the time. All right. Jeffrey's cooking up an indictment or a scandal for some of y'all. All right. About this right here. I don't know. Try to send someone else. I have a friend, Scout. She sent me some girls today, but she asks $1,000 per girl. I will send you girls now. Maybe someone will be good for Jay. Not sure who Jay is, though most likely Jeffrey. Name, redacted, 18 years old, height, measurements. One thing, I'm not even going to go look this up for you all. Jeffrey Epstein told the people that he didn't want dark girls or basically Latinas. He had a preference for the kind of females that he wanted. So you all can go look it up for yourselves, but I was going through a number of websites and articles, but he made it clear to them that he was unhappy. He didn't want the girls to be too old, and he didn't want any dark girls or Latinas, apparently. But definitely dark girls and Latinas. He didn't want those. So he's like, yeah, go give me something else. I don't want them. So he had a type he was looking for, which lets you know who his targets were. So, yeah. Every white man who walks through the room, you're under the gun. All right, there's the novel Lolita with a sentence from it because, of course, he wasn't trafficking anybody. He was doing all this for himself. All right, there's the passport. There's the passport if you all are interested. So, yeah. Can you imagine some of the places he's been? All right, he was shipping folks around to different places. And so these are some of the paperwork for some of the chicks he was shipping around to different places. He had them all over. Czech Republic, South Africa. He was running them chicks all over the place. But they were all for his consumption, right? He's going to Russia and Romania and South Africa and Ukraine. But this was all, remember, there were no clients, remember? We know that's the case because Donald Trump and Pam Bondi told us that there were no clients. So understand, all this traveling he was doing, all these fake documents or real documents for all these chicks. Well, this was because Jeffrey, he wasn't comfortable just molesting them on his island. He wanted to molest them in different time zones. Not because he was taking them to somebody else. No, this is all just him. All this moving around, this was just for him. Because he was easily bored. He wasn't taking these girls to somebody else around the world. That makes no sense. That he would be taking them around the world. No sense whatsoever. So, yeah, that was going on. By the way, Ukraine, all righty. What about your friends? So, Lithuania, crossbows. He was on some King Joffrey from Game of Thrones stuff here, I imagine. There may be some real bodies. This is a drug for, I think, urinary pain. I think they said it was urinary pain. So make of that what you will. All right. Palm Beach Sheriff's Office. Not that they're looking into anything. Don't worry. You're safe there. All right. He's having a few friends over. Don't y'all do that. Get your documents together here. If you're going to build a hostel house. Oh, look, Epstein Island. Because all the best billionaires are buying islands and nothing, nefarious going on there. If this bed could talk, it probably would need therapy. Oh, do you want to be someplace where Jeffrey Epstein is building and constructing something? Because you might check in but can't check out, or at least cameras is rolling. They love the view. Oh, look, Jeffrey Epstein wearing a headdress there. So just in case you thought that there was real beef between the Israelis and the Arabs. Jeffrey is here to let you know, nope, everything's cool. Everything is cool. He loved them, they love him. So everything's cool, y'all. Oh, look, Steve Bannon, he's back again. Completely undistracted by the photographs on Epstein's desk. Completely undistracted. So glad to see he's focused. Glad to see he's focused. Like I said, there's Steve Bannon again. It's just not bothering him. All right, when the hell y'all gonna wake up every time y'all come around? Look what this dude is wearing here, and look what Jeffrey is wearing, and then take a look over here. And I'm just saying, when are these people going to realize? Why does he need to take so many damn pictures of you in one day? He already got a picture of you sitting here talking to him. Why does he need more pictures of you? And nobody thinks, by the way, this seems like a setup. Why do you need so many damn pictures of me? Oh, look, Steve Bannon again. All right, Steve just sitting there jawboning. The Ghislaine back there snap, 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 snap. They should have just started video. They should have just brought out a video camera. I guess that would be just too obvious. But yeah, these folks just sitting there getting themselves taking pictures of all the live long day without anybody saying, by the way, this is weird, dude. This is weird. Why do you need so many pictures of us? You already took that picture. Hey, bro, this is my 5th picture today. What are you doing? Steve Bannon again. This is like, okay, this is how you end up in federal prison when you don't have enough awareness. You don't have enough awareness of the situation. That's how you end up in federal prison. So in any case, yeah, y'all, that's happened. That's happened. I want to go a little bit deeper into it here. There's a reason why I want to show you all this, because in case you hadn't seen any pictures at all, and the corporate media isn't helping anybody to get anything together, they really, really aren't. They're not helping anything. So I'm going to try to do my job. Since they won't, I'll just try to do my job instead. Now, of course, trigger warning for some of this stuff here, because I don't want to get in trouble on YouTube, to be totally honest. So there's really only so much I think I want to show or do, because like I say, folks, some of this, if these gals really are underage, I don't know if I really want to be sitting here showing stuff like that. If these chicks really are underage, even if they redact them, I'm seeing females wearing bikinis. Their faces are redacted. They're wearing bikinis, but I don't know. I don't know if they're underage or not. So I'm just going to go ahead and bypass those. What I will say is that among other pictures was a book called Massage for Dummies. It was a book called Massage for Dummies. So we've all seen the For Dummies books at the bookstore. One of the things in there was baby massage training. So I don't know if that's a page from the book. But what I will say is, from some of these pictures, it looks like the infant isn't wearing anything. So I don't know if this is a real book or not, but I will say that one of the pictures on here is got several photographs of an infant. I guess if you're massaging them, okay, but it's black and white photographs, but it doesn't appear that the infant is wearing anything. So that's why I don't want to show that. I'm just describing it to you all because the corporate media won't do that. But by the way, yeah, that's in there. Before it's over tonight, like I say, I might go ahead and give you all the link to the website that the DOJ set up to give out the photographs and the documents and things, even though they redacted half of it. But I did want to show you all one more thing here. Let me go ahead and pop that on you right quick. No, not Bill Clinton again. This. So, yeah, why would anybody think that Jeffrey Epstein was an Israeli asset? Why would anybody think that Jeffrey Epstein was working for Israel? I don't know why you would think that. I have no clue whatsoever. You're just buying into conspiracy theories. You call this evidence? Huh? Is that the best you got? You call that evidence? I mean, just because he's hanging out with Ehud Barak, former prime minister of Israel, just because he's hanging out with Israeli soldiers, just because he's got an Israeli Defense IDF sweater. I mean, he's literally got the t-shirt, been there, done that, literally got the t-shirt. I don't know why you clowns would be so short-sighted to think that this is evidence. I don't know why. Yes, the Clinton pictures are real. Once again here, you see the photographs and stuff. Pope John Paul, Donald Trump, Mohammed bin Salman. There's only so much I can show you all here, but okay. Yeah, this is him indulging in some of his perversions. So, I mean, they found a real piece of work here with this dude. They found a real one. So, yeah, he was doing what he do. And don't know why you would think that would be evidence of anything. I don't know why. You go over there to CNN talking about release all the files, but you all didn't cover it on your own website. You can take a look at CNN's website. Let me scroll through this so you all can see the pictures that they posted. Take a look at how far down this goes. Take a look at how far down it goes. They're posting text, but what about the photographs? They're posting text. JT didn't want Spanish or dark girl. By the way, the witness described the girls' races, nationalities, and complexions, adding that JE didn't want Spanish or dark girls and requested young girls but not dark girls. So, yeah. Jeffrey Epstein with Walter Cronkite. Hey, what did Nixon say? If you lost Cronkite, you've lost the war. Well, all right. Walter Cronkite knew Jeffrey Epstein. All right. One of the victims, the complaint that the police disregarded, by the way, they didn't care about that. Do y'all see how far down I'm going here? Finally, they show a picture of Epstein with Michael Jackson. They show that picture there again. Bill Clinton and Kevin Spacey. And do you see how far down I'm going? We're going to come back to this picture here in a moment. We're going to come back to this picture right here in just a few moments. Keep it in mind. Take a look at Bill Clinton and what he's wearing. We're going to come back to it in just a few moments. Hang tight. There's the pool again. And that's the last thing right there. That's the end of the story. So CNN has this whole great big huge long article, and they only showed a few pictures. Now, folks, they allegedly have people going over all the photographs and stuff and thousands of photographs and documents. And if you go to their website or to their YouTube page, you didn't see 20th of the number of pictures that you've seen me give you in just the last half an hour. And this is CNN, the most useless name in news. So, yeah, there's that. But I want to get into this part right here because I don't want you to be deceived about what's going on. You see, y'all remember that Cat Williams said something. I mean, I'm going to go there with it. Cat Williams said something. Cat Williams told people, you know, when it comes to this Bill Clinton Epstein thing here, y'all need to be, when it comes to folks in Hollywood, the parties, people, it was bigger than Diddy. It was way bigger than Diddy. Way bigger. That picture of Epstein and Bill Clinton I just told you about there before. By the way, take a look at this. Have you ever seen Bill Clinton dressed like this? Ever? People, I'm from the Deep South. I'm from Louisiana, just south of Arkansas. Have you ever seen Bill Clinton dressed like this? Ever? Is this even his style? We got a bunch of other pictures of him. There's a bunch of other pictures of him. Bill don't dress like that, except when he does. I'm just going to say it like this, people. This has shades of Bohemian Grove. What? Damn! Oh, I'm going to just come out and say it. No wonder folks didn't want you to see the Epstein Files. This has shades of Bohemian Grove. This has shades of Bohemian Grove, people. Now, let me just go ahead and remind some of the folks out there who might not be aware. You got to understand that Bohemian Grove, that really broke into the national consciousness because of Alex Jones. It really broke into the national consciousness because of Alex Jones. And what they were saying was that, man, look here, they go out to Bohemian Grove out there in California, and there's a big compound, and it's politicians, corporate leaders, academics, and that they're having some satanic rituals out there, that they all get together and have these big satanic rituals. And Alex Jones, if you want to know what his claim to fame really was, long before you all saw him on the internet, back when he was still running around with Art Bell and Coast to Coast AM on the radio, he was the guy who snuck in there, and the video wasn't really high quality. It was back in the VHS days, but it shows them burning a big statue of Moloch. You can go look that up. And you can hear them chanting something. They're sitting there chanting something, and they're wearing robes. So you couldn't make out exactly who it was, but they were sitting there chanting. And they've always contended that was a satanic ritual, and that politicians, I mean, when they name names, they're talking about like Colin Powell and some other people. Yeah. That means something. That means something. As a matter of fact, Alex Jones, he had confronted David Gergen. You can go look that up, by the way. He confronted David Gergen about that. David Gergen did not deny it. It was on video. You might be able to see it on YouTube. When Alex Jones confronted David Gergen, he was an advisor to presidents from Richard Nixon going forward. David Gergen got up. I think Alex confronted him at the airport. He called him at the airport. What are you all doing out there at Bohemian Grove? Are you having satanic rituals at Bohemian Grove? And David Gergen's like, who are you? Alex Jones. We got the video from Bohemian Grove. And David Gergen was like, so that was you. That's what Gergen said. You can go look the video up. If they got it on YouTube, you can see it for yourselves. David Gergen did not deny it. He got upset, and his response was, "So that was you. You were on private property. You were trespassing." He never said, "You're lying," or "You're wrong," or "That's not true." He never said that. Folks, Bohemian Grove, Skull and Bones, Epstein Island, whatever they're doing when they go over to Israel, people, there's a reason that these places exist. There is a reason for it. As George Carlin said, it's a big club and you ain't in it. These folks are out there and they're doing things, man. They're out there and they're doing things. And you can't get raised up unless they got their hands on you. You can't really get raised up unless they got their hands on you. Unless they know who you are. And knowing who you are means that you have been to quote unquote the parties and you have done the things. If you ain't did the thing, it ain't gonna work. We're not trying to have it. We're not going to support you if we don't have the goods on you to be able to deconstruct you in case you ever get out of line. So we're not going to raise you up if we ain't got something on you. So you spend all this time breaking your neck trying to get to these parties and get in these rooms. And if you go long enough, maybe eventually you run into an Epstein or somebody like that. And these are the folks who can unlock those bigger doors. Now you get access to unlimited funding, unlimited money, unlimited positive media coverage. Next thing you know, they done opened up all the doors. Now, it used to be hard for you to meet anybody of any significance, but next thing you know, all of a sudden, every time you come to see this dude, there's a celebrity or a politician or some executive or some big time well-known mover and shaper leaving out the place. You don't have to go hunt down the VIPs anymore or the who's who anymore. You meet one cat, he's the plug. You meet one cat and he connects you to everybody. But you gotta be down with the program. And if you ain't got some freak in you, they don't really want that. You're not really who they're looking for, so you have to convince them that when in Rome, you will do as the Romans do. That's what they're on. They're on this. They're on this. I'm just telling you all, it's way bigger than Diddy, and it's everywhere. I mean, it's international. It crosses governments. It crosses continents. It crosses political parties. It crosses everything. It crosses everything. Just understand that. If you really want to get raised up in Hollywood, are you willing to do what is necessary to get on the team? When Cat Williams talked about you can't let Diddy invite you over, man, do you realize how many Diddys there are out there? Diddy can't get you to the White House. Diddy can get you a record deal. Do you understand what you have to do to get in the room with Diddy? Now imagine what you have to do to get in the room with Jeffrey Epstein. We know what you got to do to get in the room with Diddy, and he low on the totem pole. What do you have to do to get in a room with Jeffrey Epstein and get plugged in? What does that take? Folks, if we gonna talk about it tonight, let's go ahead and chop it up and talk about it tonight. You talk about Bohemian Grove. You know what you don't talk. You talk about Bohemian Grove. You talk about Hollywood, Me Too, all that stuff. You know what you don't talk about? You don't talk about Jackson Hole, Wyoming. What? That's what you don't talk about right there. You don't talk about Jackson Hole, Wyoming. No beachfront property, great big ass wilderness, and one of the highest concentrations of millionaires and billionaires in the country, if not the planet. Everybody talks about New York and LA and Hollywood Hills and Miami, and nobody really talks about Jackson Hole, Wyoming. But Dick Cheney was there, great big ass ranch, and there's a whole bunch of millionaires and billionaires. They basically have written the laws of land management for the state of Wyoming. They've basically carved up the state of Wyoming and written the laws for it, but particularly Jackson Hole. They've gone and redone the whole damn airport. It snows all the damn time. There's not a big population, and yet they've spent millions and millions and millions of dollars redoing the airport because the millionaires got just that much going through there and just that much traffic happening. Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Not one of the glamorous cities, not DC, not some place you heard of with a big, huge population, not some place that your favorite rapper would go and film videos. It's not a place that's just really Instagrammable. I mean, they got some national parks, don't get me wrong, but one of the highest concentrations of millionaires and billionaires on the planet in one place. They all came there, and now you can't do nothing because it would be illegal for you to get within 100 acres of them because they've got ranches out there that are literally hundreds and thousands of acres large. Want to hear about another one? Montana.
Nigga, what?
Go look up the license plate laws from Montana. Montana is a very favorable state. As a matter of fact, the Ted Turner went and he the largest private landowner in America at one time, bought huge tracts of land in Montana, gigantic tracts of land. I'm talking about whole chunks of the damn state Ted Turner basically got. Montana. You should go look up the laws in Montana, folks, particularly the license plate laws. The state of Georgia had to start cracking down on people with Montana plates because people were using that to get around the sales taxes. So Montana is one of those states where you can use that. If you got one of those license plates and stuff, you can avoid, you live in Georgia, you want to live in Atlanta, but you don't want to pay the Georgia state taxes. They have Montana plates and then go to Georgia. They've had to crack down on that kind of thing. A bunch of other states did because that's Montana lets you do that kind of thing. And you can still do it today. Montana still allows it. Now, other states are cracking down on Montana plates, but the law has not changed in Montana. It hasn't changed. The reason why I'm bringing up Montana and Wyoming and not Alaska is because it's not just about land ownership. What I'm talking about is, yeah, you got some folks up in Alaska, but I'm talking about corporate people, old money, big politicians, a couple of places that folks wouldn't even think of, and you just consider it to be wilderness, and in a lot of ways it is, and that's why they want to be there. They want to be there because they're not glamorous places. These are not places that are vacation destinations that a bunch of out-of-towners or tourists would want to go to. None of you have ever been to Jackson Hole, Wyoming. If it is, this would be one of you. That's not a spot that you're like, damn, I would really want to go visit Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Nobody wants to visit Jackson Hole, Wyoming, except the people who are there, and they know. They go there, and if you muscle your way and get in, now you're among them people. Those folk are there for a reason. They're there for a reason, folks. So I'm just telling you, this is what goes down in those places. This is what goes down in those places, man. They don't go to places that are Instagrammable and glamorous. And when they get behind closed doors, man, they got it going on over there. I mean, just take a look at this layout. And this was just one of Jeffrey Epstein's places. You take a look at that. They ain't bull jiving. I mean, they are on some ancient Rome stuff here with the columns and the high ceilings and everything else. Now, I don't know if that's a big projector TV they got on the wall or something, but what I'm saying to you is that, man, I'm going to say it like it is. Can you imagine how many females you could pack in that pool?
Oh, please.
Damn! What do you think he got it for? I'm just saying that's the kind of pool that you would see, at spring break for college students. I'm pretty sure. I'm just saying, folks, come on. Jeffrey Epstein, it's not like he had children running around the place like that. So what does he need a big old pool like that for? It's not like he's got a bunch of children running around the place like that. So that's way more pool than an individual single male needs. So what is it there for? Since I just explained to you, well, it can't be for him. This can't be for his personal consumption. Folks, the government is trying to tell you that he's got a great big Olympic swimming pool and dozens of passports and thousands of females and tens of thousands of photographs, and he's globetrotting all over the place and houses all over the place in a big old island. But all of that is just for his own personal consumption. This big old swimming pool, that's just for him. Now, if he were 25 years old and trying out for the Olympics, that would make sense. Once you get in your damn 50s, come on, people. This doesn't make sense for private consumption. No, this is for hosting people. This is for hosting people, and not just one or two. There's enough room in here to host a big old orgy. There is the only reason I can see you having this. This is all laid out in the decadent Roman emperor style. You take a look at the couch back there in the background on the right. This is the old Roman emperor decadent style. That's what you got there. The only thing that something so large could be for is an orgy. That's the only thing you could do with that. That's all you could do with it, is have an orgy. And he was the plug for the orgies, remember? So we know that. He was the plug for the orgies. And that's what it is. That's what it is. And it all makes sense then. And then you take a look at your presidents and then you realize that's what it is. You take a look at your presidents and then you realize that's what it is. You all do know that one of the rumors about being a part of Skull and Bones is that they have a sexual initiation.
Nigga, what?
George W. Bush, John Kerry, 2004. Both of them were competing to be president, but both of them are bonesmen. No, look it up for yourselves. One of the things they said is that to join Skull and Bones, there's a sexual initiation. Part of it is that basically you're required to open up about your sexual history. Now, this is an all-male club and an all-male group, and yet one of the requirements to join them is you have to disclose sordid details of your sexual history. Why do you need to do that with a bunch of dudes? Why do you have to do that with a bunch of dudes? It's everywhere, people. And then you take a look in politics today. You take a look in politics today. All the females are world-class sluts. I said it. Nancy Mace, Marjorie Greene, Kamala Harris. Everywhere you look, if you're a female in politics, unless you're dog-ass ugly, you've been turned out. And even for some of the ugly ones. All the females in politics, isn't that very interesting? All of them been set out and turned out. They've been turned out so much they can't even hide their sexual histories. Sarah Palin, it runs in the family. Yeah, I mean, we'll be here all day. Turning Point, we already covered that. Turning Point USA is an open air whorehouse. They got their America Fest going on. Remember, we already broke that one. Brett Cooper already spilled the beans that Turning Point and CPAC, those are great big old orgies. Everybody's sleeping with everybody's husbands and everybody's wives there. So, yeah, Laura Loomer, there's video of her booed up with a Nazi publisher. What? We covered that a few weeks ago. This is what you got to be tuned into us. If you missed the program, that's what you end up missing. The 720 degrees of analysis you receive nowhere else. Milo Yiannopoulos put out the video of Laura Loomer drunk and trying to get booed up with a Nazi book publisher. So this is what happens if you don't tune in every week. You miss a lot. You don't miss a little, you miss a lot. They're having their America Fest at Turning Point. I already told y'all, you know, when they go back to the hotels, it's going down. Men sleeping with other people's wives or other people's husbands. And it's going on right now. It's going down right now. And it's everywhere. In the chat room, you said Big Tish James. I went to their little get together back in February on Halloween, Albany, New York. I'm telling y'all, it was like Disco 9000 up in there. Alvin Bragg was there. Letitia James was there. The DJ had the music thumping. Folks was getting lit. And then they were going back to the hotels, to the Hilton and the Hyatt around the corner for the after party. I'm talking about it's going on like midnight. And the hotel is packed. And the restaurant is open. I'm telling y'all, Albany, New York, February 14th, 2025. I'm not telling you what somebody else told me. I got footage. I'm telling you what I've seen. And there were about a dozen people that I brought with me. There were a dozen of you who are here that I brought with me. So y'all, I'm not lying. They all saw the same thing I did. We were there talking about business and reparations and Robert Brooks and Letitia James. And Alvin Bragg is sitting there, I mean, drunk and gregarious and laughing on folk. I mean, they was just doing the whole damn thing. You would not have known the difference between that and any club you were at. It was a bunch of females walking around with mini skirts, jeggings, tight leather on, and stiletto heels. It was all over the place, man. I'm not talking about 5 or 10 people. I'm talking about they must have had at least a couple hundred. At least a couple of hundred. And the folks who went with me, they all saw it. That's New York, Albany. People, there's a damn freak off happening everywhere in politics. There is a freak off happening everywhere. If you're the females and you want to come up, hell yeah, you gonna hustle them draws. Because if you sleep with Bill Clinton, now he got to do you a favor because otherwise you can drop the dime on him. If you Kamala Harris, okay, Willie Brown gonna have to give you a leg up because you can start a scandal on him. If Willie Brown don't do you a favor, you did him some favors. Now, if he doesn't do you one, next thing you know, text messages start getting leaked. Next thing you know, text messages start getting leaked. Phone records start getting leaked. Travel documents start getting leaked. That's what goes down, folks. So if you want to know why the females who get boosted up in politics, I'm like, don't worry. They say behind every great fortune is a great crime. Okay, well, if the females in politics, behind every successful female politician is a scandal, is a sex scandal. She just don't want to get out, but it's there. It's there. Either that or they're all going to gang up on you. Either that or they're all going to gang up on you. So, yeah, man, everyone is in the Epstein Files. Everyone. Everybody's in it. Everybody's a part of it. No wonder there was so much fighting to keep it from coming out. And please remember, the only politicians really pushing to bring out the documents are the new jacks. Did y'all get that? The new people, the Ro Khannas and stuff like that, the people who don't really have institutional power, they haven't been there that long. Those are the ones pushing hardest to get the documents out. The new people, all the old folk, The institutional people who've been there for 2-3 decades, they're the ones who don't want it coming out. So the new people see an opportunity to upset the old order and to clean the deck. It's all the old cats who are like, wait a minute now, we don't have to do all that. We ain't got to do all that. So you know who ain't been to the freak off, and you know who isn't in the Epstein Files, because they're the ones yelling, yeah, go ahead and bring them out. Literally everybody who's in is talking about why we got to look at that. So it's the folks who see an opportunity to come up, and they see a chance to go ahead and use this. Okay, that's politics. But what it does do is it shows you a lot. Now, I want to show you something else on here. He's like, Jason, you are fully stacked today. I'm going to show you everything else. From CNN, from their Bull Jive story here, Aaron Burnett was doing a story here on CNN. Do want you to go ahead and see this part right here, at least the beginning of it. Fair use, CNN, by the way, fair use. Not that you all did any good reporting anyway.
Epstein Files released. Now, I had a little hesitancy on that word because it's only part. The DOJ releasing a mass dump of heavily redacted documents tonight. And I want to just emphasize that point. By heavily redacted, I mean a lot of pages that look like this and this and this and this and this. And that's all I was going to do to the printer to make the point. Okay, there's a lot more of them. We have teams across CNN going through what was released right now in terms of pages that are not quite as black as these.
And yet you didn't release any photos of any worth either, by the way. So much for your teams of people there. You could have just had one me and gotten more done.
But the DOJ is admitting in a letter to Congress that the files are not complete, separate from the redactions themselves. And that lack of completion is a big problem because the deadline by law, thanks to Congress forcing Trump's hand on the Epstein files, is today. Now, the key Republican who is behind getting that law passed is Congressman Thomas Massie. And he's posting on social media tonight, quote, unfortunately, today's document released by AG Pam Bondi and Deputy AG Todd Blanche grossly fails to comply with both the spirit and the letter of the law that Donald Trump signed just 30 days ago. And Congress.
Now, remember, folks, Thomas Massie said that if they don't release everything, that's not the usual Trump, annoyance stuff. It's a crime at this point. Because it's now the law that you have to release everything, and that if they don't do it now, it's like this isn't the usual Trump meddling or trolling. This would be a criminal act. So do you realize that this is how far they're going with it? Folks, if you don't think that there are still very damaging things in there, do you see how far they're going with this? You don't go this far with it if there's nothing in it, or if there's not something really damaging or really condemning in it. You don't do this. I'll say one more thing. You don't do all of this if everything could be deleted. Here's the problem with Jeffrey Epstein. The problem with Epstein is, damn it, he took too many pictures of too much stuff. You can't have cameras rolling all the time and then be able to delete things because it'll be too obvious that it's like putting together a big jigsaw puzzle. The smaller a jigsaw puzzle is, the easier it is to remove pieces and then explain it away. If you have a jigsaw puzzle of 10 million pieces, it's going to be too obvious where pieces are missing because there's too much other stuff around it that points you in a direction. So you're going to be coming up upon a bunch of incomplete information, but enough that points you in the right direction. And it's too obvious that specific things are missing. They're already complaining that Trump has gone back and removed pictures of himself from the website already. So they're already talking about he's already done that. So even if they delete stuff, and most assuredly they probably have, I'm telling you that there's so many mountains of things in there that they can't delete. They're not going to be able to delete everything that they need to. There's going to be enough left over that points in the direction of having obvious questions. That's the reason nobody wants to do anything. And also, one other thing, I think that the files are too valuable. The files are too valuable. You don't want to delete them. You don't want to dump things. This stuff is too valuable. This gives you all the ammunition you need to do takedowns of people all over the place. They just knocked off Lawrence Summers. I mean, big wig at Commerce and Treasury, and out he goes. So you wouldn't want to get rid of this stuff because it's outrageously potent. You could take out any one of your political enemies at any time with it. It gives you everything you need all in one concise package. As you can see, they haven't deleted nothing about Bill Clinton. They haven't done that. Anybody talking about when they deleting stuff and they haven't deleted Bill's stuff? His is still sitting there. His stuff is still sitting there. Here's what I think. What I think it is that more damaging than the photographs, the problem is not the photographs, the problem is the documents. I think that the documents name names, that the documents make it clear who was being brought in. So that's why I'm saying that even if it doesn't say that you were trafficking girls to this person, the documents will start telling specific names. It'll start giving names and dates and places. And they do not want that all lining up. So more important than the pictures, I think, is the documents. Remember, Jeffrey Epstein allegedly had hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars. Folks, everybody and their mama wants to know, by the way, how did he make that money? So far, nobody has been able to explain how in the hell a high school teacher went from being a high school teacher to being a hedge fund manager / multi-billionaire tax consultant / real estate developer / Swami guru. How the hell does a high school teacher make that type of ascendancy? How does he do that? No one has explained it. Now, we know that the financial records are there with Chase Bank because they're the ones who told their folk there, don't look into his account. Okay, if Chase Bank said don't look in the account, that means not only did they know what was in it, they knew where it was going. The banking system has been digitized and locked down since 9/11. They know where every dollar that came in came from and when it was leaving, where it went. They're not guessing. So if they're not telling you, it isn't because they don't already know. They already know. And what I'm telling you all is that what happened in Florida when Jeffrey Epstein was originally indicted down there and then Alex Acosta let him go, Alex Acosta told the people he's CIA. He's an intelligence asset. He's Mossad. He's intelligence asset. Yeah, that's what it is. And nobody wants to come out and say that's what it is. That Bill Clinton, that presidents of the United States have been so easily manipulated because Israel or another country, but in this case, it looks like this is Israel's turn. The Chinese got honeypots and they got politicians over the 8 ball. Israel is obviously running, they're running compromise, blackmail operations. And nobody wants to say that all of your so-called good friends, that these are the folks that they're giving preferential treatment to. China, most favored nation. Israel, most favored ally. And it's like, wait a minute. The folks telling you they're the allies are the people who got blackmail photos on them. And if they were to actually have to stop and tell you the truth, they would have to say, yeah, they were running money, they were running girls, they've been running drugs, they've been doing everything. And we are in it with them. We've seen this before, Iran-Contra. Remember Ronald Reagan? President Reagan denied that right up until they convicted Oliver North. And what decades later, and people are still denying that the United States government brought drugs into America specifically to put in the black community to destabilize the revolutionary movement, to decimate black society with drugs. Even with the overwhelming amount of evidence, you still have people going on YouTube and other places denying reality. You got the documents, you got the people, and still got people denying that that's what's occurred. So you think that they're going to stop something like this? They're not going to lie about even bigger? You think they're not going to lie even bigger for this, and they're still lying to you about Pablo Escobar? That Escobar and Ochoa and the rest of them, they were all CIA assets. They were used by the CIA to bring in the drugs, and if things go south, it'll just be a bunch of black folk or Latinos going to prison, and Oliver North just had to be the fall guy, and by the way, that he didn't fall very far. Just like Scooter Libby, they took care of him. We're probably looking at the biggest cover up in U.S. history. We probably have. And by biggest, what I'm saying is it's so damn blatant. You know, usually when it's Bay of Pigs, Iran-Contra, 9/11, usually they've got plausible deniability. Here, it was so big and so blatant, you don't even have plausible deniability, and they're just in your face saying, stop asking me questions. Vote for me and stop asking me questions about Epstein. This is a whole new magnitude of corruption. This is a whole new magnitude. And what I'm telling you is that the only reason that would be happening is if they got a bunch of folk behind the 8 ball. They got a bunch of people behind the 8 ball. And they've told them, they let them know. Like for Bill Gates, I'm not stupid. The reason that all these folk, we knew that Bill Gates was in there. Then why is it that all the corporate media outlets didn't talk about it? Because Bill Gates is worth hundreds of billions of dollars, and they're afraid. I would like to say that they're afraid they would get sued, but that's not true. CNN is not afraid that they're going to get sued. These are their buddies. People, the rich, the elite. It's only the small people who end up in court for things. It's only the small folk who end up there. The big people, you ain't never gonna get them there. They can do crazy stuff. They're never going to get there. They own the corporate media. Hell, Larry Ellison of Oracle just bought Paramount CBS and is trying to buy Warner Brothers CNN now. Damn! People, they're literally the biggest donor to the Israeli Defense Force just bought Paramount CBS and installed Barry Weiss so that she can be the chief Israeli propagandist. They're just being naked like Fox News about it. And now he wants to go buy Warner Brothers and CNN. They own the media. The media works for them. So the media will address the stories only briefly, but they're not doing a deep dive into any of this. People with the resources of the New York Times and CNN, do you think that a single one of these documents being quote unquote redacted would stop them? Do you really think that Harvey Levin and TMZ couldn't have access to unredacted documents? Do you really think that's the case? If these people really wanted to get their hands on the unredacted documents, there's somebody at DOJ who can go ahead and make that happen. Daniel Ellsberg, Ed Snowden. You throw the damn bag. There's somebody who can go ahead and get those unredacted documents, or a hacker who can get the unredacted documents. If the documents are unredacted and the media is waving it in your face, the media is part of the damn cover-up. The media is a part of it. With their resources, there's no redacted document that you could withhold from them. Not for years and years, people. Not 7 years later. They'd have been cracked that. So the only reason they haven't cracked it is because they don't want to. I wonder who at CNN is in the Epstein Files. Damn! Let's just go ahead and say it like that. I wonder who at CNN is in the Epstein Files. I wonder who at NBC or CBS is in the Epstein Files. I mean, we already saw Walter Cronkite is in there. Well, we've already confirmed that the great venerable Walter Cronkite is in there. We've already confirmed that. So I wonder who else in the corporate so-called news media is in there. Because they're going to throw out Walter. It's not lost on me that they would throw out Walter Cronkite. It's not lost on me that they would do that. Well, yeah, Walter's been long dead. It's not like you can hurt his career. It's not like you can hurt his image. He's long dead. But there are a bunch of you who are alive. So, yeah, that makes sense why we can't depend on the corporate cable media or the corporate news to actually do any work into this. They're not looking. People, you want to talk about financial documents? Okay, forget the DOJ. How is it that Harvey Levin and the New York Times or the New York Post or the LA Times, all of them owned by billionaires, nobody has been able to get a bead on Jeffrey Epstein's financial records? His bank records, there's no squealers, there's no nothing. They have, the New York Times is mobbed up with every bank that there is, and yet they don't have any information whatsoever on Jeffrey Epstein's finances. Now, they knew all about Michael Jackson's, they know all about Diddy's, and if they come and investigate any of you, they'll know everything about yours. Jeffrey Epstein, all of a sudden, they can't find anything. Now, if they were investigating any of us, they would tell us where we bought our last Snicker bar from. But Jeffrey Epstein, hundreds of millions of dollars moving around, and they can't tell you anything? They can't figure it out. Nobody else, they can't get a clue? No breaking news? No Freedom of Information Act? And let me go ahead and talk about the Freedom of Information Act here for a moment. People, this is all bullcrap. There should not be any confidential documents for Jeffrey Epstein. They're treating you're telling me that this was just a guy who was laying up with underage girls, and yet the case is, quote, confidential? Confidential, you've already snitched on yourself. Confidential is matters of national security. How is it that a so-called sexual deviant nobody running around New York and Florida is part of national security? There shouldn't be any. Could you imagine they told you that Diddy's case is confidential? Could you all imagine them telling you that Diddy's case is confidential and we can't give you any details about it and we can't say anything about it and we're not going to release any documents? Wait a minute. But Jeffrey Epstein is not a government agent or a member of the government, is he? Because they say he's not. But they're treating him like he's a CIA operative. They keep saying he's not, but they keep, folks, in case y'all didn't know, none of this should be classified, none of it. And it literally takes an act of Congress to get these documents released. Why didn't you just be able to go to court and get the judge to sign off on it? Folks, if he's not a CIA asset, if this is not a government, then why are they treating him like one, right down to saying that the case is confidential? That's supposed to be reserved for the military and Department of State. How is it that a guy who just likes sleeping up with underage girls, how is it he gets covered under that? Well, he knew a lot of people. Okay, that's never been an excuse. That's never been an excuse. The R. Kelly case, the Diddy case, that's never been an excuse. Never. Now, all of a sudden, that's a valid excuse? Well, only if he's more than that. And yes, I'm just going to tell you all right now, you can say whatever you want to. You can think of it whatever you will. I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, no, I am not totally convinced that Jeffrey Epstein is dead.
What?
No. You're hearing this from me, and you know me. I don't go off of speculation. I'm not consumed with conspiracy theories. I don't just chase things because it sounds cute. No, I'm not convinced that Jeffrey Epstein is dead. I'm not totally convinced that he is. No, I'm not. Well, Jason, why not? People, have you ever seen this much damn chicanery following anybody? Everything about him, there's always some crazy fluke stuff going on. We don't have his travel records. We don't have his bank records. We don't want to indict him. Okay, finally we'll indict him. He's in prison now. Oh, now he's dead. Oh, we can't get all the cameras in the prison worked except the ones where he is. No funny business here, though. Oh, look, we're carting him out of the jail, and don't worry, nobody, don't worry about that. There's no body to see. We're not going to preserve anything. People, if he actually is an intelligence asset, they don't give a damn what story you tell the general public. Get his ass out of there. For those of us who lived through 9/11, we've seen this before. I have to remember, 9/11 was 25 years ago. Remember, every plane for those of you who are too young to remember, when 9/11 happened, the FAA grounded every airplane in America. They issued an immediate order for every airplane to come down out of the air right then, right there. There wasn't a single airplane that was allowed to land, or a single airplane allowed to take off, except one. Now, in the middle of all that, in the middle of a FAA grounding order, every plane was ordered out of the sky. Nobody was allowed to take off except one. The airplane with bin Laden's family and the Saudis. Well, they were allowed to get on an airplane and leave the country after the grounding order had been given. People, that could only come from the president. That comes from the top. There's nobody at the FAA who can allow that. That came from the top, and Bush said as much. He said there was no reason to persecute them. There's every damn reason to persecute them. They did that in front of every damn body. They did that in front of everyone. That's not conspiracy theory. That's fact. It happened. You can go watch Michael Moore's documentary, Fahrenheit 9/11. But for those of us who were old enough, we all remember seeing that. They told the rest of us that our planes couldn't take off. And then after we were on the ground, they allowed those folks to fly out the country. Now, explain to me what justifies that. You're going to put anything beyond these folk here now? Hell no. Jeffrey, you went too big. You got outed. It's blown the cover. We figured putting you in jail would kill the story, but it didn't. Putting you in jail didn't shut folk up. We put you in jail, and now they want to know about the documents. Yeah, we can't do this. We can't do it, man. We gotta do something different. Epstein pulls a Scooter Libby. But once again, folks, we have seen this before. Remember Scooter Libby? When they were going after George W. Bush, and Scooter Libby had to be the damn fall guy. Okay, he literally didn't spend no time in jail. We all know how that went. He called up George W. Bush and Dick Cheney. He called up Cheney and said, hey, man, hey, look, I don't give a damn how bad it looks. You better get me up out of here. Otherwise, I'm going to have company in this son of a gun. I'm not going to be the only one sitting up in here. If y'all don't get me up out of here, I'm going to have company. So you better do something. I don't give a damn if the Democrats win the next election. You better fix my problem or we all gonna have a problem in just a minute. Next thing you know, they give Scooter Libby a pardon. He's been duly convicted. Out you go. Folks, you think Jeffrey Epstein was any different? Jeff is like, hey, look, I was just doing what y'all told me. I got documents on everybody. You better get me on up out of here, man. I'll sit here for a minute, but at the end of the day, I'm leaving. I'm leaving or I'm going to have hella company up here with me. Yeah, I don't care what it looks like. You better get me up out of here. Well, Jason, they would never do anything like that. That's just too far-fetched. That's just too much science fiction. People, are you familiar with the Witness Protection Program?
Nigga, what?
People, if you think this is too far-fetched, they do this every day. They do this every day and every year, the Witness Protection Program. Please remember, they walked Sammy the Bull Gravano out of prison. What? Go read his book, Underboss. Sammy the Bull was in jail. Sammy the Bull was in jail when he decided to flip and the feds came to get him. The feds walked up in that prison and walked him out. You don't think that they can do that? Sammy the Bull, they did it for Sammy the Bull. They do it all the damn time. You think they can't do it for Epstein, who's way above Sammy? No, he's in jail. It's like, okay, but you've been convicted and we can't just take you out. You can't just disappear. We can't just do you like we did, somebody making a plea bargain, man. That's not going to roll. That's not going to roll. So you're going to have to disappear for good. What do they call that in the CIA? Burn list? Burn notice? Come on now. I know y'all are familiar with your CIA jargon. When you get a burn notice, that's it. Epstein, your identity's done. We're burning you. Your identity is done. You hit the burn list. That's it. You're over. That's it. You are going to disappear. Ain't no Jeffrey Epstein. Turn off the people. The feds control the damn prison. Anybody who's been to prison knows that. Them folk can control the damn prison. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. They control the prison. They control the doors. They control the lights. They control the cameras. They send in a crew. That's it. All right, Epstein, tomorrow night is your burn notice night. Tomorrow night's your burn notice night. Well, what do? Take these pills. You take these pills tomorrow night. It's going to make you go to sleep. You just take these pills tomorrow night. You'll be going to sleep. And when you wake up, you're going to be on an airplane somewhere. Don't worry. We'll tell everybody it was a suicide, but take these pills. It'll slow your heart rate down. It'll make you unconscious. And don't worry. We'll take care of it from there. And next thing you know, he's gone. They told y'all he's dead. Okay, stop asking us about him. He's gone. What about Ghislaine Maxwell? She's sitting there like, okay. But the problem for her is she doesn't have as much as Epstein did. She doesn't have as much because she didn't know as much as him. She didn't know as much, or they told her, hey, look, I suggest you enjoy cooling your damn heels because you can disappear for real. We got folk who can get at you. You can disappear for real. So we suggest you just cool your heels. We're going to move you down here, this little country club prison. But yeah, I suggest you dummy up. You don't know as much as Epstein. So we faked his death. Yours won't be fake. You start talking. Okay, let me remind you all. In prison, they monitor everything. They monitor everything. You can't, especially Ghislaine Maxwell, she can't make a phone call without them listening. Every phone call she makes, they're going to listen to it. Every letter that she sends or receives, they're going to read it and open it before it comes in or goes out. So she can't communicate. Where she was, she couldn't communicate to anybody without them knowing. So if she starts talking like she getting ready to sing, people, who's she going to talk to? If she starts talking like that, who is she going to talk to? Her lawyer? The minute you tell that lawyer that you want to start naming names, both of you gonna get got. People, what do you think's gonna happen? Her lawyer is gonna sit up here and file a motion. Or who is he gonna talk to? If the best he could do is contact the Justice Department and say that she wants to make a deal, she wants to make a plea bargain. What kind of plea bargain? I want to name all the other names. Oh, hell no, Heather.
Oh, please.
That's the only thing she could do is contact the FBI and the Justice Department and say, I want to name the rest of the names. You know, them names y'all don't want nobody knowing. I want to name the names. What do you think's going to happen the moment her attorney files that motion that she would like to make a deal? They're going to be like, Heather, ain't no deal. We ain't making no deal with you, but thanks for letting us know that you're ready to start squealing. Thanks for letting us know that. You about to have an accident. And the other thing is, have you all noticed the damn body count around Jeffrey Epstein's friends and relations? Ghislaine Maxwell's daddy drowns under mysterious circumstances out on his boat and drowns under mysterious circumstances. Do y'all realize how many people around Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell have turned up dead in just the last 7 years? Life expectancy around Jeffrey Epstein falls off a damn cliff. This is all just a coincidence, people? So all this is just a coincidence. All of this. This is just you just overblowing it. That's not evidence. Okay. Yeah, everybody's committing suicide. Everybody's committing suicide. If you believe, people, remember that the two of the whistleblowers at Boeing, both of them dead within a year. So Boeing's planes fall out the air. They're under unlimited liability for it. And then both of the whistleblowers who had originally said to everybody, hey, this is not an accident at Boeing. This is deliberate. They're doing this consciously. They know what they're doing. Both whistleblowers end up dead. One, right before they go to court, he kills himself in his car right the day before they're supposed to go to court. The day before they're supposed to go to court, he kills himself. So he had been going at Boeing for a decade. He had been going at them for a decade, and then the day before they're getting ready to finally go to court, all of a sudden he's like, yeah, I can't take it. Really? And then the other fella, he went to the hospital and got sick. Yeah, he got sick at the hospital. He got an infection. He went to the hospital and then he got an infection. Oh, this fool dead too. That kind of makes you not want to be a whistleblower now, doesn't it? Do you think that sent a message to anybody else who was thinking about snitching on Boeing? Yeah, snitch on Boeing, your ass will be going. Yeah, do you think that sent a message to anybody else about snitching? Snitches get stitches and ditches? Okay. All right. Folks, I mean, how many coincidences can you just dismiss before you start to say, wait a minute, man, something going on here? Are there this many, quote, coincidences in the damn universe? How many coincidences can you dismiss before you have to start questioning your own sanity, your own ability to logic or reason? That's a lot of coincidences that you just have to dismiss. That's all I'm going to say. For that to make any sense mathematically, that's a lot of coincidences that you just have to dismiss. Ask yourselves a question. Take a look at how literally everybody in a position of power or authority is acting about Jeffrey Epstein. Look how they're all acting. Look how they're all blatantly embarrassing themselves and exposing themselves to the point that they can't even hide the suspicion anymore. That guy must be pretty damn important, huh? For them to act like this, so blatantly in your face, he must be pretty damned important. And what I'm saying is somebody that important? Would he be worth faking his death for? Take a look at how all these people in positions of power respond and behave about him and how important they think he is from their actions. Well, do you think that somebody like, from what you've seen, would that be important enough to you to fake his death? Would that be important enough to you? If you say it would, give me the coffin emoji in the chat room and hit the likes button for me. It's over 5,500 people in here live tonight. I jumped right off into it and showed photographs and stuff. And like I say, if you want to see the photographs, go to Twitter. I mean, you can go look it up on Twitter, I suppose, because the corporate media has not done it at all. The corporate media just has not done it. They just haven't. It's been disgraceful. It really, really has. It's just been disgraceful. And it's not accidental. It never is. It never is. You see, when you start knowing too much and seeing too much, that's when folks are like, okay, we need to do something about this. We've exited the era where they can be subtle. We've exited that era. That era is behind us. Now you've entered the era of, all right, nigga, we did it. What you gonna do about it? That's where we are today. We're there now. We're there now. Now you are at, okay, we're in power and we did that. We're in power and we did that. What you gonna do about it? We're in power and we did it. How you gonna stop us? Or what are you really gonna do about it? This is where you are today. I mean, they are literally telling you that, for black folk, they've always violated our rights. I think what strikes the dominant society so hard is that these people are letting you know that they could blatantly just grab your daughters and just do anything they want to do to them. And you basically got to sit there and take that. They're not after the little black girls. Not this time. They're not after the little black boys. Not this time. Not this time they're not. Now they're after your daughters. They're after your white daughters. Not going to be any privilege there. They're after them. See, that's the kind of ominous thing they weren't counting on. The idea that they could target your daughters for a change. And that they could do that. Not the kind of thing they were really bargaining for. Not the kind of thing they were bargaining on. And then they could do it with impunity. Folks are not accustomed to them doing stuff to them with impunity. They're not accustomed to that. They're not accustomed to it. For those of you who want to know more, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and post the link in the chat room here. Gonna go ahead and post the link in the chat room here for you to the site, the DOJ website here. So you can see that for yourselves. There's the link for all of you there for the DOJ website for where they're putting out the files, at least the stuff they have, because they haven't even put out half of what's in there. They're holding back a bunch of stuff. But if you want to, you can go check it out for yourselves. You can try. They got more than one link there because it's different dumps that they've done. There's different dumps that they've done there. But I think the two that you're looking for most is the DOJ disclosures, including disclosures under the Epstein Files Transparency Act. There's that one. So I think that's going to be the one y'all really want to see is the second one. Go to DOJ disclosures. I think that's the one most folk are really going to be looking for. And yeah, that's what they're doing, man. One nation. Some folks say it's one nation under blackmail. I say it's one nation under Epstein. One nation under Epstein. And people, if this Jeffrey Epstein was out there for decades and nobody said anything. At the highest levels, they were covering up everything. How many others are there? How many others are there? I would like to tell you certainly not hundreds, though I can't guarantee that. How many other Epsteins are there? And how far down does it go? Not how far up does it go. How far down does it go? People, everybody's talking about politicians and CEOs and presidents. Are you sure that they're not taking pictures of your local city council person? Are you sure they're not taking pictures of your local judge? Not Congress, not the president. I'm talking about if you live in Biloxi, Mississippi, if you live in Richmond, Virginia. I'm talking about that. If you live in Memphis, Tennessee. Everybody's been asking about how far up this goes. I have a different question. With this type of infrastructure, with them doing this type of voluminous surveillance, folks, how far down does it go? Because you would just assume, oh, they wouldn't be looking at us here. But do you see the magnitude of this operation? And if you know Epstein's probably not the only one, have you considered how much backup or support, logistical support they have and how far down they would go? Do you take a look at Andrew Gillum? Take a look at Andrew Gillum. I mean, people, if you think about that for just a few moments, they had their hooks in Barack Obama back when he was at the Harvard Law Review. He wasn't even in politics. They got eyes and ears everywhere. And by the way, wouldn't it be best to get their hooks in you early? Why wait until after you've got some power and clout? If we get our hooks in you from the very beginning, we don't ever have to, we can nip that in the bud. There'll just never have been a time that we didn't have control over you. So I want you all to ask yourselves a different question. How far down does this go? That would certainly explain some of the funny business that you see on your city councils and your county commissions, huh? Because you're thinking it's just a Washington, D.C. thing. I mean, you would never think East St. Louis, Dalton, Illinois. You would never think of places like that. Abilene, Texas. You're thinking about megalopolises. Would you ever think that, by the way, it could be right there where you are locally. Oh, we're too small and too inconsequential for that. Are you sure? Are you sure you are? Take a look at J.D. Vance. 5 years ago, you would have said the same thing about him. 5 years ago, you would have said the same thing about J.D. Vance. You know who didn't? Peter Thiel. Yeah, you all looked at J.D. Vance and said, yeah, this guy's nothing. Peter Thiel didn't. Isn't that very interesting that Peter Thiel bet on exactly the right horse? Isn't that amazing? A horse that nobody was looking at, but Peter Thiel saw something nobody else did, and he put all his money on exactly the right horse, and nobody else saw it except him. Are you sure that's just a coincidence? Are y'all sure it is? Really? All right, then. Well, when you say it like that, maybe you're right. Maybe this is all just one big coincidence and Jeffrey Epstein was just the world's most obnoxious photographer. Maybe that's the case. And maybe he just caught Bill Clinton hanging out with the gals, but other than that, nothing else really to it. And all these celebrities who, of all the people they could come to see, was he doing everybody's taxes? Because that's what they claim was the reason that he was mobbed up with Wexler and them. So he was just doing everybody's taxes. So Michael Jackson just needed somebody to do it. Taxes? What are all of you people coming to see him? What is he doing for you? What is he doing for Sergey and Brin? Y'all need him to do your taxes too? Everybody's just here because they can't go to H&R Block? Come on, folks. That's a lot of coincidences, isn't it? However, you might disagree. Therefore, we're going to go ahead and throw up the link to the Zoom. Very important program here tonight, asking some very important questions. If you want to know why it is you can't get so much done through your politicians, wouldn't this explain everything? How many secret societies, people? And I'm going to go even further. Your so-called sorors, your sororities and your Greek fraternities, is it really an accident that nobody solid comes out of those places? We can't name a single rock-solid individual who's come stumbling out of one of those organizations. Is that a coincidence too? Coincidence too, everybody? Everybody involved in a secret society, and you can't trust any. None of them are doing anything for you. None of them are doing anything for you. Think about it for a few moments here. In the meantime here, I want to thank everyone, and I do mean everybody who has contributed to support tonight's program on PayPal, Super Chat, Venmo. Shout out to Mr. Richburg. Thank you very much for your support tonight, brother. We appreciate that. To my man Keenan, thank you very much for your support here as well. Melvinia. G-Mac is in the house. We appreciate that. Gamadu, Alyssa Bay has given out some memberships. Black to Death has given out some memberships. Thank you all very much for that as well. We're going to take a very brief commercial, non-commercial break. When we come back, we will take your calls and more. This is the Black Channel.
Be the teacher, knowledge on the block. Got the kids learning, minds open like a lock. Books and skills from the east to the west. Bringing education, yeah, we're simply the best. Classes on fire, brains burning with desire. Innovation driving like a tire through the mire. Math, science, history, we got the whole range. Kids hitting new heights, teachers making a change. Used to be the teacher, stacking up the grades. Future bright shining, no need for no shades. Got the youth thriving, moving up the ladder. Smart and sharp, brains growing fatter. Lessons so lit, yeah, they stay in a blaze. Every mind sharp like a sword in the haze. Mr. B in the house breaking knowledge chains. Education kingpin, we ripping the games. Mr. B the teacher.
Order yours today to experience all the benefits of Ash Kickin' Body Butter. With skin so smooth and soft, you'll thank us for it. Shop Ash Kickin' online. That's ASHKICKIN.com.
Hi, this is Brenda Starr, creator of Poetry with a Purpose and author of the book Pressed But Not Crushed. Pressed But Not Crushed is an anthology of political poems that address current and historical issues in American descendants of slave population and African American population. The book describes slaveries and its residuals, Jim Crow segregation, social depredation, and other relevant issues to American descendants of slaves and African Americans, including the current political climate that does not address our issues.
This is the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. Very glad to be with you all here tonight, and we are discussing that everyone who's in the Epstein Files, everyone is. Everyone. The Epstein Files are a metaphor. It's just a metaphor for individuals who are under the thumb and serving somebody other than the electorate. Everybody is in the files. Let's go ahead and jump over here on Zoom right quick. We got Susan here on Zoom. At least we're trying to get Susan here on Zoom. Make sure you all are by your phones or whatever if you're going to be on Zoom here tonight. We don't want to wait forever on you that. All right, Susan, I can give you 5 seconds here. Make sure you have your camera and microphone turned on. The only person who's going to see you is me. Just make sure we don't have any trolling issues. Make sure you have your camera and microphone turned on. Susan, I'll give you 5 seconds to get that taken care of for me here. Susan, make sure you have your camera and microphone turned on. I'll give you 3 seconds to go ahead and take care of that for me here. All right, Susan has been abducted. Let's go get somebody I don't think is going to disappear on us for a moment here. Let me go ahead and see if we can get Blanco up here on Zoom right quick for me. My Zoom connection's going slow here tonight. All right, what's on your mind, Blanco?
Hey, Jason, what a broadcast today. So you had a photo up, and I mean, it's on the leaks too. Everyone can see it. But you had a photo where Woody Allen and Noam Chomsky and Ehud Barak were all chilling in some kind of, Airbnb kitchenette kind of thing. So all that tells me is that every one of these world leaders, every one of these conflicts, everything that you've ever heard was always a narrative. Because as soon as this guy was done yelling at this guy on TV, and this country was done saying whatever they needed to say to this country over here, they would all go back. All these actors, George Clooney, Bill Clinton, they all go back to these little, Airbnbs or whatever and go kick it with each other. So everything that you've been told about oil and wars and this conflict and this group doesn't like this group and you don't understand the history of this. I'm not saying it's not all true or whatever, but it's all been a lie to serve the interest of this photo, this black male, this guy. So yeah, brilliant broadcast today.
I'm sure it's just a big coincidence. There's so many fellas who've been accused of doing things with underage girls. I'm sure this is all just a big coincidence. That they all are running in the same, all these decades later, you find out they've been running the same circles for all this time. And nobody going to jail for it either, by the way. I'm sure this is all a big coincidence. I'm certain it is. I'm certain it is. But look, what it reminds you of is that the proletariat needs to remember something, that the folks in power are not fighting against each other. They're not playing against each other. They're playing against you. At the end of the day, they have much more in common with each other than they do with you. And if they have to fight somebody, they're not fighting each other. They're fighting you.
That's why the whole thing with Russiagate, not to say that it wasn't true, but these things were all done and said by the time that they got him at Watergate. There's so many things that they got Nixon on, let alone, and never mind the phone calls he would have with then Governor, Ronald Reagan and whatnot. Never mind the racist phone calls. Can you imagine, people that are listening, you know what I mean? Like, can you imagine what these people were into and what they were doing? The least of your worries was Watergate. And the least of your worries was Monica Lewinsky, who was 19. Like, these people were into children doing godforsaken things, and then, I don't know, receiving some kind of Oscar the next year and talking about Native American. You know what I mean? Like, it's so fucking insane, dude.
Everything is about keeping you distracted. They only want you dialed in when they're ready to go to war or something. When they're going to go gangster somebody, that's the only time they dial you in. Other than that, they have no use for you. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. We appreciate that. Let me see if we can get Michael up here on Zoom right quick for me. Let me see if we can get Michael up here on Zoom right quick. I'll give you a couple of moments here to get that going for me, Michael. All right, Michael, what's on your mind? Unmute yourself.
Big bro, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. What's on your mind?
What's up, man? Calling you with an update. I called you back in August about law school. And I'm just here to say I got through it somehow. Well, actually, it was a little bit of a little eye-opener. They do things a little bit differently there. So it took me like 2 months to get settled in. So, but after that, I got on my I got in my flow, I got in my groove, found some good people to rock with, and I did it. So wanted to be a man of my word, let you know that we still working out here.
Okay, so are you saying that you passed the bar?
No, sir, just the first year of law school.
Okay, first year of law school.
Yeah.
Okay, but well, he started.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
has
I'm
started.
sorry. Yeah, that's all we can do, right?
All right. Well, I'm. That's the start, dude. I don't need him to be spectacular. Start quick, start ugly, start slow, but start.
Yep, exactly. Just a message to the fam. Don't be scared. Like I said, I was too scared to even apply. So, you get scared of rejection and all that stuff. So just take that first step. Just try, like Jason said, try ugly, pretty, fast, slow. Just start, and that's all I want to say to the fam. Be one.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight, brother. Keep me updated. To everybody out there, we got to be doing something, because do you see what these demons are out here doing? Let's go ahead and see if we can get Forrest up here on Zoom for me right quick. Let me see if I can get Forrest up here. All right, Forrest, what's on your mind?
Forrest up here. All right, Forrest, what's on your
mind? Turn off your speakers, Forrest.
Got you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we hear you.
Yes, sir, we hear you.
Oh, technical difficulties.
Okay, yeah. Just one thing with the Michael Jackson situation. I don't know about anybody else, but as far as Michael, I was reading a report earlier that the Michael Jackson photos in particular, he was actually looking for a home in Palm Beach. And all the homes that he went to in Palm Beach, the owner of the homes would just take a picture with him, because obviously he's Michael Jackson, like one of the biggest stars in the world. So they kind of just threw Michael in there on that, but he actually didn't know Jeffrey. And but anyway, they got him up in there. So that's what's going on with Michael. I don't know about anybody else, but Michael,
that's Trump's nonsense. That's Trump's nonsense. He's picking and choosing things, anything to keep attention off of him. But that was Trump's nonsense. Thank you for giving us a call, brother. We appreciate that. Like I said, that's Trump meddling. And by the way, I mean, I need you all to understand something here. Trump knows he's cooked no matter what happens. I mean, he knows that. The only reason he's not in prison right now is because he won the White House. So Trump knows as soon as he leaves the White House, he might as well just walk himself to prison. He knows that. So he might as well go ahead and act as big a fool as he wants to, because he knows once he walks out of that White House, he's cooked. He knows that. Let me go ahead and see if we can get Brother Shakir up here on Zoom for me right quick. Brother Shakir, what's on your mind?
Good evening, Jason. There are those who say that Pam Bondi is in violation of the statutes and that she might be impeached. What do you think of that?
Very unlikely that you could successfully impeach them, because, you know, you have to have a supermajority to do that kind of thing. But certainly she should be. She never should have gotten there in the first place. Her, Trump, all of them, definitely they should be. Absolutely, they should be. No doubt. Trump has just violated every law known to man. Laws of physics, laws of gravity. I mean, if it's a law, he's breaking it.
If memory serves me correctly, not too long ago, there was an Israeli operative that was caught up in indecent liberties with a minor in Las Vegas, but he was allowed
to leave the country. Yeah. Another coincidence. Just another coincidence, brother. You're kind of stretching there, man. It's just another coincidence. Coincidence.
And finally, there was you mentioned Turning Point earlier. Myron Gaines tried to get access into a Turning Point meeting, and he was denied. So I guess they didn't really want Arabs sleeping with white women. If what you say is true about, you know, the sexual escapades in that place.
Yeah, I want to say they kicked the coons out and then they let the coons back in later when they hit the internet. So, I mean, but definitely look, the bottom line is, if they show up, I mean, you know what he's going to be on. And I can't blame him. I mean, that's where the hoes are at. I mean, I can't blame him. I mean, I've listened to we already covered this with the e-girls and the trad con chicks were ripping each other apart. What were they saying? They were saying the orgy goes down at Turning Point. Shout out Brett Cooper. Brett Cooper confirmed it. So, I mean, look, Myron's just going where the hoes at.
Well, Jason, hoes everywhere.
Yeah, well, no, not. It ain't hoes like the repressed ones, okay? There's the chicks who got access to the streets and they can just do it wild all the time. Then there's the chicks who have to repress it. They gotta hold it in. They can't really let their inner thought, you know, run like she needs to run. So if they can find an event and tell their husband, I'm going to Turning Point, you know, it's America Fest, America First, dear. That's right, babe. I'm staying here, but you go do that there. And she'd get to the hotel and meet Myron Gaines, and next thing you know, the freak off is on. And she can finally let that hoe run wild for a minute, and nobody, her white friends, would never suspect that she walked past all the white dudes to go with the black fellas. So, I mean, and you know, as black men, this has been going on for time immemorial for us since meeting the Europeans. So if they're ready to go get their interracial freak on, you have no better cover than CPAC or America Fest. You're hearing Ben Shapiro and Tucker Carlson doing all that white supremacist, you know, code speaking, and all the white women in the audience just clapping, and then they side-eyeing to see if there's a black dude in there they can sneak off with on the low. So that's what's going on. And I'm not even being facetious. I'm being slightly facetious right now, but I'm not joking. I mean, that's what they're there for. Why do you think there's so many black males who keep showing up at that place when they're throwing blatant racist comments? Oh, because the white chicks are there. Now, she might look like Laura Loomer. Damn! But, I mean, if you got to scratch that interracial itch, and if you don't mind if she looks like Laura Loomer, or if you don't mind if she looks like Marjorie Taylor Greene, if you ready to play past that, then welcome to the buffet.
And finally, to close it out, I did ask Chat EBT. You might find it interesting.
He said EBT.
Oh, whatever it is.
He said Chat EBT, y'all.
Chat GBT, excuse me. But I did ask it, I said, how do Black Americans achieve social homeostasis in the United States? If you ask it that question, I'm sure you'll be kind of like surprised by the answer it gave. Touched on several points. You the baddest, Jason. I'm out.
Thank you for giving us a call tonight. You know, he said Chat EBT. That's that third generation AI. That's when they finally get AI in the hood. You'll know when they got AI set up on the south side of Chicago when they get the chat EBT set up. Chat GPT is for all the students. Chat EBT is for all the hood rats. So when they get that one going, then you'll know. When they get that one going, it'll be lit by then. Let me tell you. Everybody will be using AI by that point. When the chat EBT kick off, everybody will be using AI then. Oh, it'll be like Facebook and Twitter by then. Everybody's going to want that. Everybody's going to want some of that chat EBT. All right, let me see if we can get Charles up here on Zoom for me. Charles, what's on your mind?
Oh, yeah. What's up, Jason? Hope you're feeling good. Hope everybody's feeling good tonight. One thing I want to talk about this, you want to talk about the stuff here in America, but you remember the case of Jimmy Savile over in the UK. That man had been doing, he was a personality and a DJ over there in the UK from from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. And then next thing you know, he was, after he died, it found out he was a huge PDF file. He was doing all this type of stuff, including people on the high up knew, and they didn't even know anything about it. They didn't do anything about it. And in fact, I think one of those punk rockers tried to say something and everything else, and he got banned from the BBC. That sort of thing. It's this is not just a American thing. It is global stuff too.
Yeah, I mean, you would be very, very naive if you tell yourself it's limited to America. It's not. Epstein is just the one that we know about here that broke. I'm telling you, they got programs running everywhere. South America, Africa, Asia. They got, I'm telling y'all, they got other Epsteins out there who are running their own programs in other places.
Yeah. And this, and it's amazing that they always want to see the black man as this sexual predator and everything else, that the other. It has always been projection. It has always been projection because they are the true sexual predators. They are the true horrible demons that they talk about. Say we're the demons. No, they're the ones. They're the ones who do all this stuff out there. And the majority of the white people are okay with it. They would rather have that false protection of white supremacy and such than actually deal with those demons.
White supremacy judges its power by one thing: impunity. The yelling that they do is if you at any point infringe on their impunity, their ability to act without control, restraint, correction, limitation. It's not white supremacy if it is limited. And they are if there's something that they want to do, they have to be able to do it. Otherwise, white supremacy is in danger. As far as they're concerned, white supremacy is in jeopardy. And to the letter of the law, they're correct. If they can't do whatever they want to do with impunity. So whatever it is, anytime, anyway, whatever it is, striking that balance, this is where situations where trying to strike that balance backfires on you. How do you, if you're going to say that we have to honor that code of impunity, what do you do when an Epstein shows up and all the cats that he brings with him? What do you do now? Because he's got impunity too. Okay, you got impunity, but so does he. Oh, well. I'll let you have the last word.
Yeah, and that's to me the hypocrisy, the dangerous hypocrisy of these demons and the protector of these. Because remember, Charlie Kirk was not this brave person, what have you. He was a sock puppet for these same billionaires who shack up with Epstein and all that good stuff. Anyway, I'll keep doing the good stuff, man. Peace.
Thank you for giving us a call tonight. I mean, hey, look, y'all. I mean, the rabbit hole is open, man. The rabbit hole's open. The rabbit hole is open. It's off and it's running. It's off and it's running. We have not seen everything yet. Hell, we haven't seen a tenth of it yet. I'm just telling y'all, the freak off is going on right now. What? New York, LA, Miami, Dallas, Cleveland, Des Moines, Boise, a bunch of places you would never think of. I am telling you, you can't get in if this is not what you do. They don't trust you if this is not what you do. Also, one more thing. Did you all notice that between Jeffrey Epstein and Diddy, those were two networking demons?
Nigga, what?
I mean, Diddy knew everybody, not just in black society. He made it his goal and his job to know everybody he could. Diddy wanted to know everybody. He had a place for everyone. He had an event going on for everybody. He had a ticket to ride for everybody. He had an invitation and an RSVP for everybody. You want to talk about parallels? I'm sure it's just another coincidence. Let's go ahead and jump back over here on Zoom again right quick. All right, we got one brother up here on Zoom. What's on your mind, brother?
B1 and good evening, sir. Make sure my speaker's off. This program has been an absolute flamethrower. I thank you for weaving these different historical points together. Like even back when you mentioned about Pablo Escobar and the like, while they're busy doing these acts and sloppily covering them up, we're catching flack and being told not to believe our lying eyes about the level of corruption we've seen. So that much is expected. I just had two questions. So you said you believe it's more the documents that are damning than the photos themselves. And I'm wondering, at this point in time, can we even predict, do you think we can predict right now what's likely to happen with the documents going forward? And if so, do we know what that might be dependent on? Or is this something we're more in the dark about when it comes to what's going on right now?
Eventually, the documents are going to come out. Eventually, they will because they have to, but not all of them. Probably not most of them, but eventually you're going to have, folks are going to start challenging them, and you have one that'll break the dam and then others will come out. But look, I mean, they're still covering up the Kennedy assassination. They're still covering up the JFK assassination. They're still covering up 9/11. The public's appetite has thinned out tremendously. It's not nearly, it used to be that people trusted the government. The more white the country was, the more everybody just automatically trusted it. It's been 5 decades. People are far less trusting now, and they're far more skeptical. So they're really hostile toward the government and covering things up. It took them forever to get where we are, and they're still not where they need to be yet, by the way. So I do predict that you're going to see some of the documents get unredacted. I do predict that will occur. I don't think it'll happen under Trump's administration, because if any, could he look more guilty? Is there anything he could do to look more guilty than he does right now? So that's why you're not going to get anything else out of him. He's very obviously showing the only way you're going to get something out of him is with an indictment. So you're not going to get anything the easy way out of him. I think that it would be far better to go after the banks, because they can't claim any type of immunity or whatever. That's the part that's missing. You need to have a Justice Department going after them and subpoenaing their records and whatnot, because those are not things that would be protected or could be redacted. But then you would have to open an investigation. There's where we get into trouble. You get into trouble because the only way you could do that is by opening an investigation. Well, what exactly is it you're investigating? And there's a whole bunch of folks who have a vested interest in you not answering that question. So will there be more documents that'll be disclosed? Yes. Will some of them be unredacted? Yes. Will we get a smoking gun? They're going to fight tooth and nail to prevent that from occurring. And once again, folks, it must be devastating. Whatever it is, they wouldn't be, if they had deleted everything of any consequence, they would just put out everything they got. If everything that was indictable or everything that was, damning was gone, then they would just give you everything that's left over. They wouldn't be hiding anything. They wouldn't be redacting anything. if they just deleted everything that mattered. That's how you know that hasn't occurred. Nobody wants to do that, or at least not enough of them want to do that. And the other thing is, please keep in mind, if you do that, that's a crime. Part of the reason that, for example, Richard Nixon's hatchet men, going around destroying evidence, nobody wanted to see anything. Iran-Contra, those cover-ups, there's a reason why their underlings didn't even want to see anything. Because if this happens, if an indictment ever gets brought down, you can't lie under oath. So the best way to protect yourself is, I don't want to see nothing. I don't want to hear nothing. Let me just pass this to you, but don't ask me to look at anything, because just me seeing it could be a crime. Just me witnessing this could inculcate me. It could just me looking at this could get me indicted. It could implicate me just seeing it. So you have a lot of people being willfully ignorant is what you have. And what I submit to you is everybody knew. Everybody knew who Jeffrey Epstein was and what he was. Everyone knew what his function was. And there were those who knew that he was the shortcut to talking to important people. And that's the real thing about it. That's what it is. And nobody wants to be honest about how willful they were to that they wanted what he had. They wanted what he had. The other thing is, Jeffrey Epstein was the plug for all of these awkward dudes. These were awkward dudes. They're under the spotlight all the damn time. And Jeffrey Epstein was the hookup to a bunch of fly chicks, even if they were underage. He was the hookup for these guys right here, and he could take care of that on the low at the spot. And they don't want to rip the cover off the fact that there's a whole bunch of them who wanted that. These are Lawrence Summers, for example. He's in trouble now because the text messages came out, and he was asking Jeffrey Epstein. There was a chick in his law class, a young female. She was legal age, but way, way younger than him. And he was trying to strike up a relationship with her. So he's the law professor. Total mismatch, but he was asking Jeffrey Epstein for tips on how to strike up a relationship with her. And Jeffrey Epstein was trying to give him some game. Well, I'm just saying, that's who they are, man. That was the client list. A bunch of guys who did good at politics or good in corporations, and they're total social failures. An issue that Jeffrey Epstein didn't have. And he saw how he could use that. And what it shows you is that you have a whole bunch of socially awkward people running your government, running your corporations, and those people are easily compromised. That's all that this really exposes. Your government, your corporations. We've let a bunch of beta males get in there, and they're all easily compromised. And they've done it. You have a whole government right now that's totally useless. And that's just in America. Half your government is compromised. That's where we're at right now. Half the damn U.S. government is compromised. Forget about just being useless. They were already useless. But now they're useless and compromised.
With that being the case, how it makes one wonder, how can they keep it so airtight? As much as this is airtight, like covering up the files and keeping things redacted and restrained from the public as much as they are, how do those two kind of mesh together, if that makes sense?
Because you don't know these people. You don't know Barack Obama. There's a reason Barack Obama fought tooth and nail to prevent one thing. He didn't want to show pictures of him smoking. Barack Obama's a smoker. I don't mean weed. I mean cigarettes. He still smokes to this day. But he fought very hard to prevent a bunch of images of that getting out there, because that's off-putting to people. You all do not know these people. It's like folk in Hollywood. People who live in New York, LA, Miami, but particularly people that celebrities, places where celebrities frequent, or if you have a job that lets you get in these gated communities where these celebrities live, what you find out is, man, That what you see on TV is just an image. You don't know these people. You don't know them. Many of them are loud and gregarious on television or on their rap albums. You meet them in person, they're the most quiet mouse in the back of the corner you ever met. And I've met a lot of them. You're pro athletes. He seems like he's such a super confident alpha and he's paying for sex. Can't hold a conversation with a mop. And they're paying for sex. So the image you see of them, it is an image. Then you talk to them in person, and I have, and it's totally different. So you don't know these people. You just know, you see somebody who's been packaged. All of them have image consultants. All of them have professional, speech writers, image consultants to package an image and present it to you. And what you see on TV, if you think about it for a few moments, those are really only short bursts. Oh, a 2-minute clip here, a 30-minute interview there. You don't know these people. And by the way, when you do see them, it's only on their time, by their schedule, with their hairdresser and their cameras. You only get to see them when they're ready to be seen. Well, what else do we call that? That's a movie. You don't get to go see the movie before it's ready to air. You don't get to talk to these people until they're ready to see you. And then they're ready to do their performance. And then when you leave, now they can go back to being themselves again. But I'm just letting you all know, without me saying too much, I don't want to say, Jason, you compromise. I don't want specific individuals texting me. So let me just say it like I'm going to say it here. Practically everybody you see on television, particularly if they're successful, politician, CEO, entertainer, they have an entourage. Mm-hmm. I'm just telling y'all right now, they don't go by themselves. They're not out there by themselves. That's never the case. They have an entourage. Remember Dawn from In Vogue? She's still got a publicist. She's living in her car. What? But she's still got a publicist or a manager, and she's living in her car right now. So it's not one person. You have a rapper. You want to know why they go broke? Because they got an agent. They have a manager. They have a publicist. It's not one person. And these people are given to them for the purposes of crafting their image, because that's what sells. The individual themselves is too damn lame. You'd never want to be around them. Mm. They're not cool. They're not fly. They're lame. Most of them are socially awkward. The females are bimbos and ditzes for the most part. Or Cardi B, just loud and boisterous. Nothing you'd want to stick around for any real length of time. So they need people. They need a group of folk around them to craft an image, to manage them. You've heard that phrase before, managing their image. That's what they need. And so I'm just letting y'all know, if you see them on TV and stuff, they're not by themselves. They're not, particularly if they're selling a bunch of albums right now. They got a movie out right now. They're not there by themselves. They're not. You just see only them on camera. He's not there by himself. If it's a congressperson, he's got aides. He's got assistants. You see him during the congressional hearings and the Senate hearings. You see him sitting behind them. That's their entourage. That's their people. They manage the schedule. They manage who they see. They got the hairdresser on deck. So you've never met these people. You just met their image. You've met their presentation for this brief amount of time on this channel or in this movie or on this album or on this NBA game. That's all you've ever known. You don't know them. You don't know what they really like. You don't know what their kinks really are. And they would never tell you. Let me remind you all again. I'm slipping over into a little bit from my other channel, but let me remind you all again. Did you all notice that you have never heard a single peep out of any of Sean Diddy Combs' girlfriends?
Nigga. What? Damn. Nigga, what?
People, you've never heard any of them talking, most notoriously Lori Harvey. Now, Lori Harvey, have y'all noticed you haven't heard any backbiting scandal or anything from her about anybody she's been with? Why do you think that is? Do you think that's because she's just so great and wonderful and disciplined? No, that's not the reason. It's because Diddy will not let you in the room if you don't sign an NDA. You cannot get in the room with him if you don't sign an NDA. Right then, right there. If they don't know that you signed it, you cannot come in. And it goes further than that. Just recently, Jeezy's ex-wife, Jeannie Mai, him and her, they're having a bit of a falling out, since they're getting divorced and stuff. She wanted to come to the house and pick up her things, allegedly. I think she's just being messy, but she come to the house to pick up the things. Jeezy wasn't there. Yeah, but one of his people was, a white woman. One of his agents, one of his people was there. And they told her she couldn't just come in the house like that. She said she brought the movers with her to move her things. It's on video. You all can go look it up on YouTube. What I'm about to tell you is on video. That white woman told Jeannie Mai and the folk who were with her, you can go in, but you have to sign an NDA. She was telling them they have to sign an NDA to walk in the house to remove Jeannie Mai's things. Now, I'm telling you that this is the way it's always been. This is very ubiquitous. We exited the era of just letting strangers freestyle around you when Michael Jackson got sued and got indicted. Everybody does that. Why do you think, folks, you've never heard a peep from any female that Tom Cruise been with, Brad Pitt been with, except his ex-wife? Angelina Jolie is the only one talking mess. Nobody else has ever said a thing. You think it's because they're all just great and wonderful and demure? Hell no, they've signed on the dotted line. Leo DiCaprio, he runs through a new 22-year-old every year. You never heard a 22-year-old who don't run their damn mouth everywhere. And yet you haven't heard anything leaked about him or nothing. How do you think he's just found the most grateful group of disciplined 22-year-olds on the planet, or they signed something that let them know if you run your mouth, there's a $10 million penalty on you? So you run your mouth, just understand it goes left. Folks, it's everywhere. Michael B. Jordan, you haven't heard anybody. But why do you think all these females ain't said nothing? I'm telling you why it is. Who got the NDAs? I'm telling you, when they break up with these chicks, it's never messy. They ain't talking no noise. Yeah, because she signed something. Whole list of females. You see them with a different chick every year. And when they break, you don't even know when they broke up. And after they broke up, she won't talk to you about the relationship. Yeah, because she can't. She won't talk to you because she can't talk to you. All she can do is move on about her life and go about her business. What she can't do is go gossiping about you. Because in Diddy's case, he had an NDA and an NDA or NDAC, non-disclosure and a non-disparagement. So for those of you who didn't know, with Diddy, you had to sign two of them, non-disclosure and non-disparagement. So you can't talk about the relationship. And even to the extent that you can talk about it, you can't say anything bad about him. So everybody who's been with Leo DiCaprio or whatever, they can say something nice, but they can't say anything negative. Even if they could talk, they know they can't say anything negative. So there's nothing to say. That is Hollywood. That is corporate America. That is, and to a certain extent, that's politics, although the politicians can't keep the hoes quiet because they don't have any discipline. So that's the problem for them. But in the entertainment world, no, dude. You cannot get in the room. They have parties. Why do you think you never heard about with NWA? They have their Wet and Wild parties. Folks, those kind of parties happen all the damn time. That happens all the time. Why do you think you don't hear anything? Your favorite Hollywood stars, your favorite rappers and stuff, there's orgies going on all over the damn place. Diddy was having freak offs and stuff all over the place. Shout out Aaron Hall. I mean, why do you think you didn't hear anything? Because you can't come in if you didn't sign an NDA and there's not going to be any cameras. They check everybody at the door, metal detectors, whole 9 yards. They will check everybody at the door. You can't come on the premises if you haven't signed an NDA, and there will not be any cameras or anything else. They'll check you before you go in. You can have your phones and stuff when you come back out. So it's like going to a comedy concert. You know, it's you're not. The only thing gets to enter the room is you. That's the only thing gets to go in. To the general public, this is a foreign world. This is a foreign world to the general public. And so I don't want to just make it seem like it's just Diddy. That's why I named Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, Leo DiCaprio. I'm like, I know the signs of all of them. It's the same for everybody. I've talked to attorneys in New York and LA. I'm not telling you what somebody else told me. This is the protocol. And these are I'm letting you all know. You never heard it from anybody else on YouTube except me. Yeah, because nobody else knows. They don't really know. Check it out for yourselves. Those are the telltale signs if they have a bunch of females and the females never talk about them later. The rappers with the little squirrely chicks running their mouths after the fact. Oh, she didn't sign nothing. But you know the ones who got NDAs because they run through hella chicks and these chicks never say anything. It's not because the females don't want to talk. That ain't it. They do want to talk. He just made he's got lawyers and folk to make sure she gonna be quiet because if they get paid off of you, if you have an agent, he might get paid anywhere from 10 to 20% of what you earn. He's not trying to mess up the bag. And if he knows you got a tendency to do reckless stuff that messes up the bag, yeah, they gotta sign this. Yeah, I can't let you do what you usually do. They gotta sign this. Because you gonna mess up my money is what's going on. In pro sports, they tend to not do that. The other folk, they got discipline. And we all know Sean Diddy Combs been through hella females. The only reason Cassie was able to talk because she could accuse him of a crime, even though she was lying. So I'm letting you all know that's how it works in Hollywood, the celebrity sector. If you see a fellow who's been with 5 females and none of it, every time he breaks up, nobody says anything, nothing. Oh, she signed. Yeah. She signed an NDA. She can't say anything. Now you all know the telltale signs of it. And with the Epstein, he doesn't need an NDA. He's got photos of you. Epstein didn't need an NDA. He's got photographs. All the folk he wants to be quiet, it's like, yeah, they already know he's got photographs of him.
So that was a nonverbal. That's almost like a nonverbal.
That's
NDA,
a threat. Jeffrey Epstein's entire protocol was to get you to schmooze up to him. You want to spend time around him. Next thing you know, he's inviting you places. I've met a bunch of rich people, and I'm just talking about they got extra houses, extra cars, extra pools. They keep luxury amenities the way you keep socks. I'm not telling you what somebody else told me. Folks, I've been around these celebrities and folks like that. I've been around tycoons and rich folk. Man, they got amenities the way y'all got shirts. And a couple of Bentleys, a 4-car garage, a house in Encino and in the Keys and in Martha's Vineyard. Man, they got amenities the way you all got, cell phones. Olympic pools, vaulted ceilings. I'm talking about like literally you could go to them and literally be like, hey, I'd like to stay for a few days. And they're like, sure, take the fourth bedroom down the hall. I mean, they got 6 and 7 bedrooms in the house. Bunch of damn strange folk walking around and stuff, man. I'm just serious. Houses so big that literally you can get lost in them. 2 swimming pools. So you literally don't have, if you don't like somebody in the house, you literally don't have to come into contact with them. You can enjoy the pool without them being around. Literally. 3 living rooms.
Nigga, what?
You've never been in your life to one of your kinfolk's house had 3 living rooms. Never. 3 living rooms, 3 kitchens. It's one dude or one female, and they got 3 kitchens. I'm talking about a kitchen upstairs. What? And that's just one of their houses. So what I'm saying is that you don't know what it's like to be around folk who have that kind of excess capacity. So and by the way, and they don't watch clocks. There's a reason that they call them the idle rich. They don't watch clocks. As a matter of fact, now that I think about it, I've never seen a clock when I was with any of them. They had expensive watches. I don't know if the watches worked or if they ever wound them up. I do know I never saw a clock. They don't watch clocks. When they want to go eat something, they just go. If they want to go hang out somewhere, they just go. I can't tell you how many times I've had them invite me to get on planes with them to just go somewhere. They didn't even ask me. It's like they want to go somewhere and they just go. You name it and they just go. You don't know what it's like to have folk with that kind of capacity. So when you have an Epstein and he's got several houses and a damn island, and remember he had like go-karts and four-wheelers on the island. So literally you can go to his island. He's got everything already set up. Hey, you want to get on the four-wheeler? You want to get on the gondola? You want to get on the boat? You want to get on the ski lift over here? What you want? You don't have to pay for anything. You want to know why it is that young girls in college like going off with rich dudes? Because that when you got that kind of excess capacity, he's got an extra damn car and he don't give a damn who drives it. Mike Tyson said that. He said, I bought everything in the world I could for myself. Now you just wind up buying things for other people. So imagine being a 21-year-old chick, you in college, and dude's got a spare Bentley. And he's like, here, you want to drive it? A spare Rolls Royce. I didn't say a Rolls Royce. I said a spare one. That's what you're dealing with when you hang out with cats like that. And just literally, you can walk around there. Here's another thing. You can walk around their house and nobody's following you.
What? Damn!
Okay, if I'm going to go ahead and give y'all the game about it tonight, I might as well just do the whole thing so I don't have to do this again. This is going to be one of these programs where I explain all these things so I don't have to do this again. When you walk around their house, there's nobody following you. So this isn't like being at the Pentagon or something. I'm talking about when you're around these folk, you can go wherever you want to. They don't give a damn. You can, quote, explore the house. All the bathrooms, all the living rooms, all the extra rooms, the game room, the dens, the back patio, everything. They don't care what you do. They really don't. You can smoke in the house, outside the house. When the refrigerators are stocked, they're fully stocked. When they're not stocked, they're fully empty. But it doesn't matter. You could literally tell them, yeah, I'm hungry, and they'll volunteer to buy you something. They think absolutely nothing of if you're hungry spending $100. They think zero. It's not even a thought to them. They just were reflexively, okay, you want something? I'll take care of that for you. In one instance, there was one who had a private chef, and they were like, can you wait 45 minutes? They were like, can you wait you hungry? Can you wait 45 minutes? I can get my chef to come over. Like that. I didn't say, can you get the chef to come over? I just, go give me something to eat. You're hungry? Yeah, I am kind of hungry here. Can you wait 45 minutes? I'll get my chef to come over. And it's like that. Yeah, that's a kind of cool place to hang out now, ain't it? That's a kind of cool spot to hang out in when you think about it for a few moments. That's kind of stress-free. Now imagine having that every day, all the time. Imagine having that every day, all the time, no stress, no extra bills. You want a car, you want shoes, you want extra this or that. It really sucks you in. It really does. It's a frictionless environment to be in, and most folk don't think about it that way. Most people don't. I don't think they could, to be totally honest. So when I say that they're living a totally different world, I mean they live in a totally different world. Totally different. You're completely secluded. You don't have contact with anybody you don't want to have contact with. They're not asking you to leave.
Nigga, what?
Oh, yeah. One more thing, folks. They're not asking you to leave. I have never once had them. Now, it's with working class people and regular folk. I've had them talking about it's 11. It's 11 o'clock. I got to go here. So glad you came over, but I got to go. Folks, when you hang out with rich folk and celebrities and things, when I say they're on clocks, they're on clocks. I've never once had them say it's 12 midnight. I'm ready to go to bed or something. Or you got to leave. It's 12 midnight. I want to go to bed. Never had that happen once. If you want to crash on the couch, you can. If you want to crash in the spare bedroom, you can. You want to get on the phone, get on the computer, use the Wi-Fi, whatever. Literally, I've never had them say anything about, it's late at the time. So what I'm saying is you go to these places, you can do whatever you want to. Nobody's following you around. Nobody's policing you. Nobody's limiting you. You got the full run of the place and everything is just cool. How can you not like a guy like that? How can you not get along with a guy like that? He lets you do whatever you want to. Now let's introduce Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein has entered the chat. Jeffrey Epstein's like, hey, would you like a broad?
Damn!
Oh, we're on top of the private chef and everything else. Jeffrey's like, yeah, I saw you eyeing my girlfriend. You want her? She's in the pool right now. She has a friend with her. And he's looking at you dead serious. Yeah, I saw you looking at my girlfriend. You want her? It's cool. She has a friend. You want her to just watch? Y'all see these celebrities doing all that girlfriend swapping and stuff. These chicks jump from one rapper to another, one ball player to another. You think this is just Diddy? You think this is just Epstein? I'm trying to let y'all know what the world is. I'm letting y'all know, by the way, you never connected these dots before tonight. This is a real thing that really happens. You can call them groupies or whatever. We're beyond groupies. Ghislaine Maxwell was a full-fledged partner and got no problem throwing it for the whole damn crew if it come down to it. That's what she's there for. And by the way, not only was she there for that, she was the madam recruiting other chicks. Talking about men being predatory. She's sitting up there talking about, okay, who's the new girl we're going to get? She's one like, yeah, Jeffrey, you need to let me handle this because you're too damn awkward with the females. I need to handle this, Jeffrey. Hey, there's another one over there. Let me go talk. Jeffrey, let me talk to her because you're a little too bold sometimes, Jeffrey. Let me go talk to her. I can bag her. I can close the deal, Jeffrey. You can't. I'll close the deal. That's the world you're in. Right there. And by the way, remember Diddy had a group of them too. Remember? With Diddy? Yeah, some of them chicks recruit other chicks. Ain't that right, Cassie? Oh, I'm sorry. So Jason's just making things up? Cassie got on the federal stand and told you that. Cassie got on the stand in federal court and told you that she was recruiting girls. Diddy didn't have to go find them. She would go find them. Okay. You think it's just Epstein? What do you think the NBA runs on? What do you think the NFL runs on? Do I need to remind you all again that whenever there's a Super Bowl in the city, there's a reason why they have the Super Bowl plotted out so far in advance, like the damn Olympics? There's a reason why you have to qualify for a certain type of stadium in a certain type of city to have the Super Bowl. Because when the NFL comes to town for the Super Bowl, they book the hotel a year in advance and they purchase the entire hotel. They buy every room in the hotel from the bottom to the top. When the NFL comes to town for the Super Bowl, that week, there's only the two Super Bowl teams in that hotel. The only people in that hotel are the two teams for the Super Bowl. That's it. From the bottom to the top. They don't take any reservations or nothing. Don't believe me? Go look it up for yourselves. When they have a Super Bowl, the NFL purchases the whole hotel from top to bottom. And that week, there's nobody in that hotel except the two teams for the whole week. Now, of course, players be bringing in folks they shouldn't, but the bottom line is the general public, you on the outside. And when it goes down, whatever goes down at the hotel goes down. There won't be a bunch of people from the general public sneaking around. That's not going to happen. And it's always been that way with the NBA. I mean, with the NFL and the NBA All-Star Weekend. Y'all just see them at the court and stuff. What happens back at the hotel? Yikes. Okay. It's been this way. There's a whole bunch. So when you ask, how could all these celebrities and stuff folk move in these environments? Because that's where they come from. They have some version of that from where they come from. It's only the goofy clowns who don't. Those are the ones who usually get in trouble. They have some version of that wherever they go. And when they got around Epstein, it was just another day in the life. Bill Clinton was raised a poor boy in Arkansas. So money was new to him. No wonder you could get compromised. For some of the older money folk, that didn't really thrill them. So you start seeing things. But I'm just letting you all know, it's a microcosm of Epstein Island is all over the place, all throughout this society. If there's millions of dollars, if you're not in the room with it, you are only 1 degree of separation away from it. And there's a reason why we have so many of these enclaves now, either in rural areas or whatever. They're going to be fabulously wealthy with gate houses or in some rural area where there's 1,000 acres. It's all over the place. And every once in a while, you'll see one of your politicians go sneaking off somewhere. Every once in a while you will. So that was the crash course to all of you all of the documentation of Epstein Island and the culture of it and how it could work. And I'm just letting y'all know it's all the way real, just like that. It really is. When you were a little kid and you went to your affluent uncle's house and stuff, and they finally let you play with everything and play on the pianos and stuff like that. Now imagine an adult version of that. Imagine that. Well, I'm telling you, it exists. If you get in the room with them and if you qualify for it, if you're in, that's exactly the way it happens.
Wow, incredible. Thank you so much for that, sir. B1.
Mind blown. Y'all should have seen his face over here. He was mind blown. By the way, I'm not making any of this up. Those of you who actually have operated among the major sports leagues or some of these petroleum clubs and stuff, if you get to hang around long enough, you've seen that. Hell, anybody who's worked security, if any of you have worked security for a celebrity or a professional athlete or in those arenas, you know I'm telling the truth. You've seen it. Any of you who have worked security or worked in those corporate environments like that, you've seen it. Any of you who have worked at a private club. So I need to let y'all know something. There's a reason why they bring in so many immigrants to go work at these places like West Palm Beach and in the Keys and things like that. They don't want a bunch of you native born people seeing that kind of stuff there. But by the way, that happens. It sure does. Any of you who've ever had access to it, you've seen it. But there's a reason why they work hard to make sure you don't see it. It's not just a one-off. It's an entire culture of it. If you make enough money, you can do whatever you want to. If you want to be a sexual deviant, you can if you make enough money. If you make enough money, you can do whatever you want, including be a sexual deviant. Let me go ahead and see if we can get Cosmosis up here on Zoom for me right quick. Thank you for your patience, Cosmosis. Go ahead and unmute yourself. What's on your mind?
Yo, Jason, it's been a pleasure. Your broadcast has been amazing tonight and actually hit really home. Long story short, my father's side is actually from the U.S. Virgin Islands. So when you made that comment earlier about not how high does it go, but how low does it go, it really, struck a point because currently now,
you want to go? You want to go here with it, brother? Are you about to go? Are you about to go here with it?
I mean, with the documentation out there, you got all these politicians in the Virgin Island that have been, slowly but surely being not called out, but all the lines are now connecting the dots between governors, congresswomen, you know what I mean? Up and down,
he just went and said it, y'all.
Damn!
Yeah, just in case if I was wondering for a moment there if he was legit, I'm like, he might be false flagging. Let me see if he's tapped in. Now he said it. Now he said it. He said the Congresswomen. Once again, y'all, everybody's looking at the men. That's the red herring. The females are 10 toes deep in this game because they know you all looking at the men. Oh, if it goes down, everybody's going to be suspicious of the men. Meanwhile, the women are moving around like they're moving around. So what I will say is that we covered this before, but isn't it very interesting, brother, that you've got all these congressional black congresswomen trying to go down to Jamaica and the Virgin Islands and the U.S. Virgin Islands and all the Caribbean, all of them working overtime. They're so interested in establishing quote unquote trade with the Caribbean. We didn't send the damn Secretary of State. We sent some congressional black congresswoman. Okay. All right. Oprah wanted to go overseas and open up schools too. What? All right, let me just leave that where it's at. So I was waiting to see if you were going to say that. So I'm like, okay, he checks out. He checks out.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely,
we looked at all the white men going to Thailand. People, if you're talking about Thailand, you're so far behind. That's dated. Thailand and Bangkok and all that. I'm like, yeah, down there in them islands, but not just the men. Them women going down there. Hell yeah, somebody needs to be asking a whole bunch of questions. You really need to. She's there to open up trade. What the hell?
You said how convenient. It's
any reason to get down there.
That's it.
Any reason to get down there.
Oh, it's paradise. Come and spend some time. Okay. What else are you doing?
Need a house.
Some property, some land, a little key off the side somewhere.
Yeah, need a house, need a car. Oh, yeah, and by the way, while you're down there, let me let you meet my man Epstein. What? By the way, while you're down there, we got some folk to introduce you to while you're down there. Oh, what do you know? Because remember, we just had they let out that video of the black congresswoman, I forget her name. She is literally in the damn hearing about Jeffrey Epstein, with Epstein literally texting her on her phone.
Thank you.
Telling her what to say during the damn hearing. People, when I say the thing, for those of you who didn't hear about it, I'm sure a lot of y'all did. But I mean, a congresswoman literally during the Epstein hearing with Jeffrey Epstein texting her on her phone during the damn hearing. You want to know who controls the damn government? You can't get your congresswoman to answer the damn phone during the week. Jeffrey Epstein can get her to answer it during the hearing. And you telling me that's a conspiracy theory? Well, Jason, I mean, is he really important enough that they would fake his death? He's important enough that he can get them to interrupt a hearing, and he can she's supposed to be talking to a witness, and he can get her to stop talking to the witness and answer her phone during a hearing. Yeah, he's that important. And you're questioning whether they would fake his death? And he's that important? That he can stop a hearing? You ain't never seen that in your life. Whoever this man is, whoever he is, he's damned important. He can bring a congressional hearing to a standstill. Yeah, I would believe. If he can bring a hearing to a standstill, I damn sure believe they would fake his death. Yeah, into witness protection you go. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that would work. And he was all down in them spots. You know, he had visited everywhere. And he's just one. If you go down to the Caribbean, then white men are all over. They got businesses. They set up shops. They set up stands. They ain't doing that for nothing. That's the front. That stand he got, that smoothie shop. Tell me I'm lying. When I start lying, brother, you call me out on it when I start lying. When you go down to the Caribbean, the Virgin Islands, Turks and Caicos, you will always, 100% always, there's a white man down there doing tours. What? Damn! If I'm lying, brother, call me out on it right now in front of everybody. Call me out.
Telling the truth, them invoices hot off the press, man.
There's a white man in all these places who will do tours now. How in the hell do you figure that is? Fiji.
A local white man.
Yeah, Fiji, the Tongan Islands, the whole everywhere you go to these island places, there's a white man who's been there for decades. He didn't just show up. He been there for decades. And they're tour guys. They got guided tours. You want the gondola, the boats. They doing tours, and he's been there for decades. Decades. I'm sure he just wanted to save money on taxes. Now, I'm telling y'all, that's the plug. That when he shows up for you, there's a tour. When Epstein show up, super secret handshake. Okay. Yeah, we got some new girls down here. All right.
Absolutely, Jason. Absolutely, man. Yeah, so I just wanted to drop that bomb right there, land my plane because, even governors' wives have been working in economic departments. I think even there's some ties to the current governor now. And he's working in some economic departments trying to lay off some stuff for Epstein before and after his death. So the rabbit hole goes deep, Jason. And, some people want to keep their head in the sand, but it's all around.
Brother, politics today in America, when I say it's a different world, we don't think about the fact that these are arranged marriages.
Nigga, what?
These are arranged marriages, my dude. JFK and Jackie Kennedy, Ronald Reagan, Nancy Reagan, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, Michelle Obama. Barack Obama did not date a black female. He dated nothing but non-black women until he met Michelle. That's the first and only black female he ever had anything to do for. And that was the only one could get him to the White House. That's not accidental. And take a look at where she comes from. She was his superior when he was at that law firm. He was her subordinate. These are arranged. J.D. Vance and his wife. Charlie Kirk and his wife. Oh, I'm saying it. Folks are just nobody has said those words yet. They talking about Israel this and Israel that. And what I'm saying is, has it occurred to any of you that that was arranged? Have any of you folks out here talking about her background, have any of you actually considered that that was arranged? That they like, hey, Charlie, if you want to get this 100 million, this is the female you need to marry here. Yeah. I don't give a damn what you think. This is the one here. The donors and the backers approve of her. This is the one we want. Come on, people. George W. Bush and Barbara. I can go down the list, people. These are arranged. They're arranged. Jason, why are you beating this like a drum? Because of what he just said. The governor's wife has shown up. How do you think she became the damn governor's wife? How do you think she became the governor's wife? She's down there to handle the business. She didn't get to be the governor's wife today because she's just another cute face. If she showed up down there, that's his right hand showing up to handle the business. Pablo Escobar had that too, by the way, in the cartels down in Colombia and Mexico. Griselda Blanco was just the kingpin, but among the cartels, the women make runs. The women handle the business too. Might be too hot for the dude to show up. Them eyes might be on you or whatever. They send one of them chicks. Next thing you know, his woman done showed up. El Chapo's woman coming up here today. That's not El Chapo's woman showing up. That's him showing up. She's there as his representative. Whatever she says, that's him talking. That's not her talking. That's him talking. She shows up. She's just here to deliver a message or to make sure this business gets taken care of. But that's not her speaking. That's him speaking. So, yeah, when the governor's wife shows up, the senator's wife shows up, the first lady shows up, and she's by herself, like Michelle Obama been doing for the last damn decade. Why is she showing up by herself? There's something that needs to be done. Either because there's something they need now or this is a receipt for something else. You want that presidential library bill, don't you? Okay, that $500 million ain't going to pay for itself. And it needs to be upkept. Those presidential libraries are a damn scam. That's money laundering. That's the if you want that damn thing built, and I'm just telling y'all right now, like for example, they don't even keep track of the money for that thing. What? Remember, they're not in the White House anymore. They're not in the White House anymore. So I've seen, you take a look at Obama's damn presidential library. Is that really $700 million? Is that $500 million in construction? Are you kidding me? No, it's $100 million to build this thing, and this other $300 million is, okay, this caking you off for doing a good job for us here. You gotta wait till you get out of office, but don't worry, the money will keep rolling. It'll keep coming through. Tell them it's for the library. Tell them it's for the parking lot. Tell them it's for that. All right, here the check is. Here you go. There's a reason that we can't get these people to stop helping these corporations. They got your damn people on installment plans. They got your folk on installment plans. What's gonna happen to Eric Adams after office? He'll get his final check from him. Come on now. Down there in the Virgin Islands, why you think we can't get the politicians down there straightened out? Them women showing up throwing the bag. They got the whole damn parliament locked up. They got the whole damn thing locked down. Jamaica, Nassau, you name it. Them chicks show up. Oh, we here for trade. Yeah, we're here to buy off your whole damn legislature. They gonna do what we say. Y'all gonna be sitting over here eating walnuts, but they gonna do what we tell them. That's what happens when the governor's wife show up. And the politicians are praying, oh, this will be great for all of us. No, it's going to be great for you. And that's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. Even in Haiti, they killed Moses. Yeah, here you go. Y'all saw that house he was in with his wife? Come on now. You saw that house he was in with his wife? Go Google it, people. Don't believe me. I could be lying to you. Go Google that house that him and his wife were in. Go take a look at how the average Haitian is living, and then go take a look at that house him and his wife were in. Go take a look at that. Where's that come from? How you do that? With everybody else out here, they eating damn mud pies. How are you doing this? Come on, brother. Bill and Hillary Clinton all over Haiti. Come on now. You want me to connect the dots? Bill and Hillary Clinton all over Haiti. They can do whatever the hell they want. They're having a grand old time. Okay. Their legislature is making Bill and Hillary maximum comfortable and saying to hell with the rest of you. What is he doing for them? What is he doing for them? And what are they doing for him? Okay. Good call, brother. Appreciate you giving us a call in here.
Appreciate that. $1 Jason. Have a good one.
No, if we're going to deal with the rabbit holes, we might as well deal with all of them in one swipe. Just get all this taken care of in one night here so I don't have to come back and do an explanation like this again. But yeah, man, it's global. It's worldwide. It's all over the place. It's hell, at this point, it's hidden in plain sight. At this point, it's hidden in plain sight, man. It's not even undercover anymore. It's in plain sight. There's something for everybody in this in plain sight. This is how serious the world is about buying off your leadership. And this is just how much about them you don't know. And we don't even have a tenth of the information yet. Can you imagine what would happen if we had 30% of it? About what was really lurking out there? Can you imagine that? And you want to tell me that we really gonna be messed up if we vote for Trump or if we don't vote for the Democrat? So you're going to listen to Rolling the Bowling Ball tell you that, well, this is why we need to vote Democrat, though, because we'll be real messed up if we vote Republican. Okay. Is Child Protective Services failing? Child Protective Services is in their back pocket. Child Protective Services works for them. With as many children that die because of negligent child protective workers, please. That protective part is a joke. The protective part of Child Protective Services is a joke. Not a funny one. I know it's been kind of super heavy here tonight. You all got a few things to go ahead and, mull over. We are not done. We haven't heard the last of it here, people. They are going to keep going. They are going to keep going. This society has let them cover up things for so long that now you've allowed them to cover up atrocities, and it's just another day in America. And they're going to keep going with it, man. Do not expect them to stop here. They're going to keep going. They are going to keep going. It's going to take a better class of citizen to stop this kind of thing. It will take a better class of citizen, people who don't tolerate it. If you want to know the primary reason you need to destroy white supremacy, is because we don't want to maintain the status quo. We are not here to maintain the status quo. If you maintain the status quo, then you're maintaining Epstein. So there's the reason why we are the threat. We are the threat because we're not going to maintain the status quo, and that includes Epstein and the boys. That includes Epstein and the boys. But it's going to be hard for them, man. It's going to be hard for them to allow us to lock all them folks up. In any case, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up here tonight. I promised you all that if you subscribe to the program this weekend, that it would be very much worth your while. So I trust that we have earned your subscription tonight. If we have, make sure you click that subscribe button. And then if you're on the app, click the yellow notification bell so you can be a part of what we do here. And if you are new here to the Black Channel, welcome to the haven of intelligent Black thought, the 720 degrees of analysis, insight, and information you will receive absolutely nowhere else. Tonight's program has just been one example of that. But if you want to stay tuned in every time, that subscribe button is your ticket to ride. If you haven't been to our website, blackchannelfilms.com, check out our groundbreaking best-selling documentary work, blackchannelfilms.com. That is blackchannelfilms.com. I want to thank all of you, everyone, everybody who has contributed to tonight's program, who has watched tonight's program live or recorded, who has liked, subscribed it, and shared it. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, Black is the future, and the future is uncompromising.